Greetings, D&D fans, and welcome to a very special preseason episode of Holy Rollerz D&D, the cleric-centered D&D game where every character can channel divinity, but not necessarily compassion.
That's brilliant.
This is our one and only practice session. So whenever you watch this, you're going to be seeing the nitty-gritty as we work out the kinks here. The players learn their character mechanics, and we start forming our individual style. So we're very excited. We're going to be presenting a small moment in the party's lives that will provide a greater hint as to who they really are and where they come from. So what you are about to see occurs before the party ever meets and will only exist as a vague recollection for them that may come back to them very briefly.
Well, it's D&D.
Of course it will. Yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our bios, beginning with Jessie.
Okay, so I play Caitlin, and this is her bio. It says, born in the rugged Arcantor Highlands, Caitlin grew up within the Norger tribe, a band of insular warriors that rarely settled in one place for long. Daughter of the chieftain, where praise and adoration might have been expected, she received little more than scorn from her father, as she was not the much-desired male heir. After a collection of unexpected events, Caitlin found herself being sold to a rival tribe as their chieftain's third wife. Not content to hide in the shadows or be someone else's pawn, Caitlin attempted to escape, accidentally activating her powers in the fight, and things swiftly went from bad to worse. Now on the run, Caitlin's only clue to her strange destiny is the kindly priestess of Valhalla, who tutored her on the sea voyage to the mainland and taught her to follow the light of reason. She does not have a channel divinity shout yet because she's not told me what it is. So I have it as undecided.
Well, if you channel divinity in the middle of combat today, that's going to be up to you to decide what it sounds like.
You're going to have to tell me what it is.
Maybe it'll come to you then. Okay.
Let's hope.
Okay, the son of a famous actress and a wandering priest of Sindel, goddess of love, Lachlan Dulé was raised among the upper echelon of Talispoon's artistic elite. Trained in the bardic arts by the finest tutors, Lachlan grew bored with his famous mother's social circle, and yearning to be more like his father, he began to visit Sindel's temple in Talispoon, the House of Repose. It was there that Lachlan found his true calling and embraced the path of the Paladin. Now Lachlan dreams of traveling to the Adari Republic and joining the Heartseekers, an elite order of knights who serve Sindel and travel the land fighting to preserve beauty and love. In this way, Lachlan hopes to better understand his father and who Sindel expects him to become.
Gizik was the son of the witch Elspeth and a long-forgotten ogre, whom she likely devoured. His mother, who had always wanted a daughter, cruelly rejected her son and treated him like a servant. Although his mother never taught him any magic, Gizik was able to watch Elspeth practice her dark arts and learn some magic of his own. One night, a band of roving knights came and slew the witch Elspeth and burned her corpse and house. Gizik escaped and was reveling in his newfound freedom when the goddess Sigrun spoke to him and gave him new orders.
All right. When a kindly priest of Bestera, goddess of healing and protection, rescued an orphan child, he strongly suspected the boy possessed celestial blood. Father Garin named the child Michael and hoped that he would follow in his footsteps and join the clergy. But fate took a cruel turn. In the very chapel he grew up in, a dark figure descended upon the young man, sinking sharp fangs into his neck. The man awoke with a bloodthirst, and the very shadows themselves came alive and spoke to him. They called him to the service of the god of night, or the death god, and revealed the true nature of his divine blood. The shadows named him Anduriel.
Very good. All right. Well, we are going to jump right into this, and we start with Lachlan. Lachlan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm glad you're ready. I don't think you're going to be ready. Anyway, okay, moving on. So, Lachlan, you are standing on the stage in the common room of the Blessed Lady Inn in the town of Hollydell. Now, Hollydell's Inn, of course, being an inn in the Adari Republic, names like the Blessed Lady, Her Holy Light, the Mrs., Sister Sarah's fabulous cakes and pies. These are, all things that are very in common, given that the Adari Republic is a theocracy, worshiping the goddess Bestera. So you're standing on the stage of the common room of the Blessed Lady Inn. You've been contracted by the wine merchant Bam to enter to entertain his customers. And Bam is a man of few words. He's not a really great negotiator. You could have taken advantage of him easily. He has a really big club that he sometimes pulls out from behind the bar for no reason whatsoever. But anyway, people tend to like him. But you are on the stage, and it is a rough crowd. And there are a number of reasons for that. But one of the reasons is because it's been kind of a bad harvest year. And so the people of Hollydale, they know they're going to have a tough winter because it's been a bad harvest year. They're probably going to be relying upon donations from the church. It's just been difficult. So let's see how well you do in entertaining that crowd in the common room. First of all, can you tell us what song you're going to sing? Because that may get you a modifier depending on how terrible a choice it is.
How about the love follies of the well-hung halfling?
Okay. All righty then.
God, I love this game already.
Go straight to it. All right. Okay.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Go. Yeah. Are you going to sing that for us, or are we just going to make
no.
it? Okay.
You'll have to use your imagination on that one.
And now we are all picturing things that we cannot unsee. So we're off to a great start. All right, go ahead and make a performance check, and let's see how well you perform this.
Let's see. I got a 23.
Oh,
Total.
snap.
Well, now.
You are up there playing your yarding, singing verse after verse about this promiscuous halfling who apparently is still very popular despite his size. Anyway, so you are just jamming, and people are kind of like, wow, he's really good. Like they're rather impressed. And you're looking out, and you get to that point when you kind of, as a performer, you know you've got them in the palm of your hand. And it's probably a really upping thing, like The Devil Went Down to Georgia or something like that. So you're, like that. And people actually start, clapping. Some of them get into it. And that's when something kind of unpleasant happens. One of the strings of your yarding breaks off and goes pong and sticks right up your nose.
Okay.
What is Lachlan's reaction to this?
Well, he's a natural performer. He's good at improv, so he's gonna yank that sucker out and start in another verse, throwing in something about something coming up the halfling's nose.
Okay. All right. Let's make another performance check to see how well you are able to integrate this little change.
I rolled a 2, so that's an 11.
Okay.
Oh, not well.
So you
So
rolled
probably
two.
nasally.
So you actually go to pull the string out, and when you let go, it goes boing, and it comes back and hits you in the nose again, and everybody starts laughing. And there's a woman at a table, the table that is closest to the stage, who is looking at you, and she giggles at you, and then you look down, and you're like, oh my gosh. You look down at your yarding, thinking, I'm going to go ahead and fix this, when you realize that you are wearing a lacy green evening gown. I'm assuming that is not the outfit that you started with.
No.
Okay. I mean, it's really nice. It's like really
arcane heckling. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it seems like that. You, for a minute there, you're like, what happened? And I would like to also mention it is backless, just so you know.
Ooh.
So
saucy.
Yeah, it's saucy. Yeah. And so yeah, it is backless, and you're like, what in the world? So you look back at that lady that's giggling, and she giggles, and all of a sudden she goes, ribbit. And the funny thing is, make an insight check.
I'm good at that one. 11.
All right. You are really struggling to kind of read your audience because you're so freaked out and you're wondering you didn't see anybody cast a spell. So you're like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. And that's when a voice comes from behind the bar and it says, hey, who told you to stop? and you look over behind the bar, and there's a lobster with a chef hat on. And he's shaking his club. He's shaking a club that he has in one of his claws at you. He's shaking it at you and tells you, "I'm not paying you to stop."
Did my baby get polymorphed into a lobster?
It's a distinct possibility. But at this point, Lachlan, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Sounds like he needs to do an acid trip check. Roll high, bro.
Yeah, roll
Maybe just
high.
wake up.
I think he rolled high before this all started, and that's the problem.
Exactly. It's a little late for that.
Ooh, this tavern's in Colorado.
I think it's time to switch percussion. He's gonna turn the yarding over and just beat it like a drum and stand up and start shaking that skirt and come up with another song.
Go with it.
Get his
Yeah.
moneymaker.
Okay, so he kicks up his.
He knows a cross-dresser song, right?
Okay, I'm sure. So that, like a true performer, Lachlan, you go with it, and that is when the door of the inn flies open and slams against the wall, where as far as it'll extend. Okay, and through the opening of the doorway, you see an unnaturally bright golden light flood the entrance of the room. And standing in the center of that golden light steps out a woman with a very distinctive appearance. She's wearing a dark blood red dress that is frayed at the edges, but it's frayed as in a style, which you ought to identify very easily. It's frayed as a style, and it looks it looks enchanted at the very least. It's very nice. And she's wearing a dark black cloak with a hood around that's not pulled up. It's a pretty nice cloak. Also, she's wearing dark black boots, and she has black gloves. And around her head, she's got a little diadem with that points up into the shape of some kind of a bird of some kind. And so she has this kind of royal appearance. And when you look at her eyes, as she steps in further away from the light, her eyes seem to be giving off that same glow that's coming in through the door. And she looks at you and she says, "This is the extent of your control over the astral realm. How you come from the bloodline of Queen Ajalaide is beyond me. Well, we don't have any time for chatter." And then she holds up a wand with a crystal at the end and kind of like a dragon claw at the other. And she points it at the ground, and there's a boom, like this sonic boom that just echoes, and the floor gives out from beneath you. And all of a sudden you are falling, and it's absolutely terrifying. Anyway, so you're falling down, and you look around you, and it's just kind of pitch black all around you that you're falling down, and you fall. I mean, it feels like you're falling forever. And you look up, you look around, you have the presence of mind and enough time, and you can't even see the inn above you. Whereas when you first fell, you could see the inn. And as you fell, the patrons of the inn gathered around and were like, "Bye, come again soon."
Nice.
But you have fallen so far and for so long that you no longer really have any idea how long it's been. So you are falling, and then you hear a voice come from out of the darkness, and it comes from all around you. It's like surround sound when you pay for the D-Box seats. It's like it's everywhere. You hear the voice come from all around you. And it's the same voice you think as that woman who collapsed to the floor. And she says, "You're not the only one with ancient blood. You're going to relive one of their past lives, the end of one of them, in fact. So you know the kind of courage that you're dealing with. In fact, you're going to relive it with them. I do hope you enjoy improv theater as a performer, Bard." And she says, "Make it count. This is chronomancy and oneromancy. I can't sustain it forever." Now, would you like to make a knowledge arcana check to see if you know either of those terms?
Do I make 2 or 1?
You can make 2.
Okay, I got a 7 on chronomancy.
Okay, a total?
Total.
All right. You are convinced that chronomancy is the magic that transforms ordinary bard clothes into dresses.
Okay. And then whatever that second one was, I got a 17.
Okay. On the 17, you've never studied it, but oneromancy is dream magic. It's the magic that can transform the demiplane of dreams and manipulate it, which is, given what she said to you, probably where you are. But for the uninitiated, the player, Ryan, knows what chronomancy is. And you can tell our audience who may not what it is.
Time magic.
So Chronos, not that you couldn't figure out, but I don't know. There might be an 8-year-old watching this who's never heard, of Chronos. So,
yes, an 8-year-old.
Yes, an 8-year-old. Or is this the part where JT pretends like he doesn't know the names of the Titans? That's not counting. So,
what's a Chronos? I don't know.
Who's Nancy?
Isn't that the bad guy that fights the Avengers?
Sure.
Hey.
Jesse, you just lost like 20 points with some of our viewers. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying as an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
they would probably be more aware of the Avengers than they would, a time god.
That is a very good point. Okay. So, Lachlan, you fall down and you hit a really hard kind of stone enclosure. And when I say a stone enclosure, it's kind of an enormous stone chamber. And you see 3 other people there in front of you. Okay. Now, those people are frozen. They're like absolutely still. Okay. And I will describe them to you. First of all, Anduriel, when you wake up, you look nothing like yourself at all, and you pick up on it really quickly. You look down at yourself and you see tanned skin. You are bare-chested, and you have silver runic wrappings around both your arms and your legs, and you have an amulet around your chest that is a mountain with clouds around the top of it. So when you come to, that is what you see on yourself. Kaylin, unlike the gorgeous dress that you are no doubt wearing, which I'm sure we'll talk about in episode 1, you are looking down, you're wearing nice dark purple robes. You have scaled boots, like they might be dragon scaled boots. And you look down, and the most disturbing thing is you look at your arms and your hands, and they're wizened like an elderly lady's arms. And you also see you have black lacquered nails, like
Okay, that's a little freaky.
like French manicure, okay? And you are also wearing an amulet that it's a disc that is bisected. Part of it's silver and part of it is gold, equally. Kind of, yeah, exactly. Gizik, yours is perhaps the most disturbing transformation.
Okay.
Because you are looking up at everybody, which is not an experience that you are accustomed to. Gizik, you are small, like some kind of fey creature. You have large, long fey ears. You could be a gnome or some kind of sprite or something. You also are wearing elephant ears and a pie. No.
A pie? Whoa.
Yeah. Gizik, you are also wearing a runic gray cloth and leather armor suit. And you have a symbol on your chest of 2 black triangles, a smaller one with the point down and a larger one with the point up, kind of like an amulet that is those 2 black triangles touching each other. And so when you wake up, or when you come to, it is much like waking up in a dream where you don't necessarily question how you got there, but all 3 of you wake up in this enormous stone chamber, standing within just maybe a couple of feet of each other. So I will describe the chamber to you a little bit, but first, the first thing you see is each other. Lachlan, you see all of them. You guys, none of you see Lachlan yet.
Oh.
Okay.
So, Anduriel, Kaylin, and Gizik, you wake up not recognizing yourselves surrounded by strangers. And how do you react?
Are we in cages? Are we just in open space? Like,
So if your first reaction is to look around rather than to address the personages, you see that you are in some kind of enormous stone hallway, right? That goes down for quite a number of feet. I mean, it's like not like a football field. Maybe it's like half of a football field down another direction, and very, very wide out. Maybe as wide as. It looks ancient, and as you look on the walls, you can see that etched into the brown stone of these walls are a lot of profane images. You see burning forests. You see an ocean that's shaped like a humanoid, but it's being tortured, like pierced by spikes. You see people being dismembered and violated in other various ways. I mean, it's just the walls themselves and the ceiling are carved with these images, and they're large, they're epic scale, and they're horrific. They're disturbing to look at, unless they're the kind of thing that, I don't know, Gizik and I'm not sure if Gizik and Anduriel would find them pleasant in any way, but just like Mother used to make, something like...
This might be Sigrun's house.
Who knows? Okay, so this is the area that you're in, and there is a loud boom that rocks. It's like rocks and dust falls from the sky. Some kind of loud boom that strikes from the outside.
Okay.
And that is where you wake up. At the end of this hallway, there is a very large entrance, and there is a large entrance behind you that presumably you came from. So, what do you do?
I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm freaking out because I'm kind of a calm customer, but I do reach for my weapon. I reach for my kukri right away I want to assess threats here.
Okay.
Is it available to me, or is in my change of...
Nope. You reach down and it's there.
Okay.
Almost like it was never gone. Although when you first looked at yourself, you didn't see it. But when you looked up and saw them, you reached for it and there it was.
Okay. I reach for my weapon. I draw it and immediately demand to know who these people, who are you and where are we?
Who reacts first?
Have our weaponry?
What's that?
Do we all have our weaponry?
Are you reaching for it?
Oh, yeah. First thing she's going to do is see if her sword is there.
All right. Does Kaylin carry her sword on her back? Or, I mean, it isn't. All right. So, Kaylin, you reach back and your great sword is suddenly strapped to your back.
Okay. She feels a little better now.
Do you draw it or you just reach for it?
She'll pull it out.
All right. So
just out of habit and
all
fear.
right, so you draw your kukri and she draws a great sword. And she's like, and this thing, it looks older. It's like an older model weapon, the kind of weapon that maybe was passed down. So it does look old, but it still looks sharp. So anyway, so she's got, hers is bigger than yours is.
I'm supremely unconcerned.
Yes, I'm sure.
And my question of who are you and where are we isn't more of a question. It's sort of a I'm telling you, who are you? Tell me where we're at.
Okay. Does anyone talk?
Am I still invisible?
Are you invisible?
Well, they haven't. Has anybody noticed me?
Nope.
Not to my knowledge.
I've just seen these two. I'm
just really kind of realizing what everybody else must feel like when I'm around. Just kind of looking up at him. I haven't said anything yet.
All right, so neither you
nor
sure
I trust my voice.
Anything.
Well, Kaylin will probably, if he says, "Who are you and where are we?" she'll probably say something to the effect of, "You tell me first."
Okay.
Lachlan's gonna wave his hands and say, "Hey! Can you see me?"
Okay. From out of nowhere, right behind all of you, or like if you guys are all standing facing each other, right here, pop! Somebody just pops into existence. And Lachlan, what do you look like?
He's about almost 6 feet, young, black hair, blue eyes,
green
very
dress.
attractive. Oh yeah. Well, The dress is gone, I assume.
The dress is gone.
Okay.
Whatever you imagine you look like is what you look
Has
like.
anything been replaced? Are we
Now he's
fully in the nude?
completely nude, and we are going to get an NC-17 rating. That's
There goes our monetization right there.
yeah, right there. So
No, that's He wears hide armor, but it's nice. It's stylized and he is very proud of his worship of Sindel. So it has all the kind of love and beauty symbols all over it.
okay, all right. With which a simple knowledge religion check, any one of you could easily identify. So if you want to be able to identify that, go ahead and make a knowledge religion check. You need 10.
10. I'm gonna.
Dad's going.
I'll bite.
"How smart."
All right. Go ahead, Kaylin and Gizik can
All
make knowledge
right.
religion checks also.
1 second.
I got an 18.
I got a
Okay.
12.
12.
11.
Okay, so the fact that this guy is lovely does not escape. I mean, he's like, he may as well be doing the Care Bear stare right now for all the symbols and accoutrements that he has on him. So he goes pop, and he shimmers into existence right in front of you. So how do you all react to that?
Keelan probably screams and tries to find the nearest wall that she
Okay.
can put her back against.
All right, the nearest wall is quite a number of feet. It's like, I don't know, 50 feet in the other direction.
She's not real happy about that. She's trying to find some kind of cover.
Kaylin
Okay.
Kaylin. Yeah, I'm now.
It's okay.
No,
This is the magical world.
Lachlan waves his hands and says, "Guys, this is all a dream. Chill."
Doesn't feel like a dream to the three of you, four of you, three of you. Yeah.
No, I pretty much train my weapon on him, get in a defensive position to where the only thing to my back is nothing. And he's
Okay.
sort of freaking me out. I did the religion knowledge check. I'm just trying to take him all in, but I'm pretty calm still.
Okay. So with your knowledge religion check, Anduriel, you rolled quite high. You know all about Sindel. In fact, Sindel has a temple in the city of Talisboon that is right next to the temple of Nalok, your deity. And so you are fairly familiar with her religion, with her priestesses. You might not necessarily. There's not a ton of respect for them in the worship of the death god, but they're known to be useful at certain skills. So
Okay.
so anyway, and he is just, I mean, decked out like he is proud to show his colors.
Bubbling.
Yeah. All right, so he draws his weapon and points at the rest of you. Kaylin jumps back and screams. Lachlan comes out. Anybody say anything else?
I think Kaylin probably has her sword pointed at oh my gosh, I just forgot your name. Lachlan is the bard, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. So she has her sword pointed at him, and she probably says something like, "Why would a dream put me in someone else's skin?" Because she's very freaked out by like her hands and her robes, and she's having a moment.
Some lady brought me here, and she said it was chronomancy and what's the dream one?
Oneromancy.
Oneromancy, whatever chronomancy is, but oneromancy is dream magic. So dream magic and chronomancy, whatever that is.
That's that magic that allows you to transform your clothing into evening gown wear.
Yes.
Yeah. The rest of you make knowledge arcana checks.
All right, we're rolling just 20s for that, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
You only need a 13 to know what chronomancy is.
She does not know. I got a 10.
Okay. Gizik.
27.
Okay. Gizik, you've actually read the book Time and Substance, which was written by the famous chronomancer Baba Ganoush, or whatever his name is. And you liked that book so much that you cross-referenced it with several other volumes on the same subject because you're planning on going back in time and stealing someone's evening wear. I don't know. Anyway, so you know all about chronomancy, and you can tell Lachlan doesn't know what it is.
I got a
Kaylin has
15.
nothing.
All right. So Anduriel, you got a 15. So you know what
Yep.
chronomancy is. It's time magic. And so when Kaylin says, why would magic put me in someone else's body? You there have your answer. If it is chronomancy, it's not chronomancy that the rest of you have ever heard of. Time travel is possible with magic. but entering into someone else that's
Timeline.
That's really complex magic. It's not something any of you have ever heard of a spell for.
All Kaylin wants to know is it Fey magic?
Is it Fey magic?
Yes.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 10.
You're sure some wicked fairy has concocted this entire enterprise?
Which
In
is
fact,
great, because now she's terrified.
If you look at Gizik, he looks like just the kind of pointy-eared, nasty little fairy creature that is stealing people's babies. And
Fantastic. Her terror just like quadrupled.
Okay. So Gizik, Kayla looks at you and she probably screams or whimpers a little, or it looks like she's going to lop off your head. One of the two.
Oh.
Anybody else going to say anything else?
At this point, Enduriel just says, this is really fascinating, but I'm leaving. And so I start to kind of back away from these strangers who I've never met, right? I don't know who they are. And
you don't know them from Adam.
Starting to look around the room for an exit.
Okay. So when that happens, Lachlan, you hear a disgusted sigh. Okay. That it comes right next to you. Okay. But there's nobody there. And if you reach it, you reach out, there's nobody there either. Right. So you hear this disgusted sigh, and then there's another boom that rocks. And this impact rocks the chamber so hard that you are all wobbling on your feet now. And that is when something very disturbing happens, more so than Lachlan's dress. The entrance, the entrance presumably through which you came collapses into a pile of stone and rubble. And you can see cracks spreading in the ceiling ahead of you. They're running like this. And then the pillars that are on the walls start to crumble behind you. Your only hope of escaping this enormous chamber's collapse is to dash and make your way to the other exit at the end of the chamber.
I start running.
I begin dashing immediately.
Yeah.
Kaylin books it.
All right. So everybody books it. I'm assuming, yes. Lachlan, do you want to stay and just be grateful for your wardrobe change, or are you going to?
No,
I'm wearing an Adari.
I'm a great runner. I'll beat him.
Okay. So here's how this works, my friends. I need each one of you to make a series of athletics checks. The DC is only 13, which is not too rough. Every time you make one, you move ahead 1. You've got to move ahead 5 times to get out of danger. If you don't, very unpleasant things are going to begin to happen. So everybody go ahead and make an athletics check.
Okay. I rolled.
22.
All right, Gizik, you move ahead 1.
16.
15.
Kaylin, you move ahead 1. And
I got 18.
18. All right. So Lachlan, Gizik, Kaylin, and Duriel, you all both. And it's interesting because as you run, are all of you trained in athletics, might I add?
No.
I believe I am. Let me go double check.
I am.
Acrobatics doesn't count, right?
No, acrobatics does not count. But Gizik, you're so freaking strong that it doesn't really make a huge difference. So anyway, okay. So what happens is you both, now Lachlan, you're pretty fast, right? And Duriel, you are also extremely physically, unnaturally so gifted, right? So you're used to just kind of outpacing everybody, but you look over and everybody is keeping up. Like Kaylin is she's trucking it like Carl Lewis, obviously. And for some 70-odd-year-old woman, it's extremely impressive. But everybody seems to be keeping up. All right, so everyone moves ahead 1. Make another athletics check, DC 13.
21.
4.
7.
4 total?
4 big ones.
Okay.
15.
Did you roll a natural 1, JT?
No, I rolled the 4.
Oh, you rolled the 4. Okay. Are you trained in athletics?
I'm not.
So that's half your level, which is nothing, and your strength bonus. All right. So,
Exactly.
all right. So you do
Well,
not.
so
move
I mean,
forward.
strength bonus. What? 7? I get a 7. 10.
Okay. So, Gizik, what did you get?
A 15.
15. So Gizik, you move ahead.
I have a question.
And Kaylin, what did you get?
I rolled a 7, but I'm trained in it. So
Yeah.
do I add the skill modifier?
You add your skill.
That is 6 plus 6.
So
What's the
you
DC?
said you rolled a 7.
Yeah.
And what is your skill there say in athletics? Plus
6.
what? All right. So you rolled a 13. So you got exactly what you needed.
Well, thank the Lord.
All right. So everybody passed except for Anduriel. So Anduriel, here's what happens. You are trucking along expecting to just bolt when you see the 70-year-old lady go, woo! Right? And you're like, oh. So you're really surprised, and you don't see an enormous stone fall down and threaten to crush you. Now,
Oh, dear.
you have 2 recourses, Anduriel. You can make an acrobatics check to try to dive out of the way, or you
Okay.
can make an arcana check and try to use magic to divert it somehow.
I will go with acrobatics for 200, Alex.
All right, let's see. You need a 15.
Okay, I got 24.
Okay, so you got more than up. All right, so this stone comes along, Anduriel, and it might crush you, but as it comes up, you grab the edges with your hands and push yourself off, and you slide under by the edge of the stone itself that fell. It's rather impressive. You roll down, and you come up into a crouch.
And I tell
All right.
everybody I meant to do that.
Well, they didn't see it because they're
Zero
running for their lives, and they're not looking behind you.
Dang it.
All right, next one.
Oh, I
Everybody, make a check.
Okay, I'm using
Athletics, DC 13.
14.
19.
8.
Okay.
I got a 9 all told.
All right, Kaylin. Gizik, what did you get?
I got an 8.
Okay, total?
Yes, total.
Okay, wow. All right. So, Lachlan, you pull into the lead. Now, Gizik and Kaylin, you have a choice. You are caught by fall. One of the pillars comes down, and it's going to hit you. So you can use either Arcana or you can use Acrobatics to try to evade this. Otherwise, it's going
I'm
to
not
hurt.
trained in either of these things.
I
You're
will go
not trained in
Arcana. 25 Arcana.
Okay, so Gizik, you use your magic somehow to evade it. How do you picture that happening?
So I shoot out this little bolt of shadow that kind of pushes it away, and I dodge it.
All right. So you're trucking along, this pillar starts to fall, and you blast out just enough of a section to be able to run under on the run. Kaylin, my dear,
Yes.
have you now you have to make Arcana or Acrobatics. Now your intelligence is high, so I'm assuming that you're probably going to want to go with Arcana.
Yeah, would that be the better one?
That you're untrained, but you get to add your intelligence modifier. What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 16.
All right, so you have a +3. So roll the die 20 and add 3.
Okay. I still do not pass. I got a 5 total.
All right, and that means that I roll an attack on you, Kaylin.
No.
What is your reflex defense, Kaylin?
Let me check. 2 seconds.
1200.
14.
All right, I only rolled an 8. So, Kaylin, you this big old rock falls and it makes contact with you, but you like slide out of the way really fast, and all it does is scrape you instead of crush you.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, unfortunately, all right, everybody, roll again. DC 13, athletics.
17.
Okay, Lachlan, you move ahead.
Oh, 14.
14, Anduriel, you move ahead. Gizik.
5.
A 5. Gizik, make another Arcana check.
Rolled a 2.
Roll a different one, bro.
Yeah, you
Arcana
might
check?
Time.
All right, I'll
Just get rid of
switch. All right. Arcana
This
check.
one was considerably better for me.
Natural 20, so that's
All right.
Yay!
Great.
27.
All right. So, Gizik, the same thing happens. Gizik, you've been stopped for 2 turns now, so this is what it looks like to everybody else if they were to look back, which they're probably not. Rocks are falling, and you're just like, ah! It's like you're more concerned about blasting rocks right now than moving forward. Kaylin, what'd you get?
I got a 23 total.
Excellent. So, Kaylin, you move ahead one. Okay, very good. Everybody, Roll again.
What roll are we on,
I've
by the
only
way?
got so many in me here.
Well, Kaylin, you got you're 3 ahead. You got to move ahead 5 to be safe.
Okay.
19.
19. All right, Lachlan, you come dashing through the entrance to this stone passage, and you're in the safe zone, unless that starts falling.
I got 21.
13.
Okay. Oh, very good. So, Kaylin, you move forward. What'd you get, JT?
13.
13. All right, Anduriel, you move forward also. Gizik.
17.
All right, Gizik moves forward also. Okay, great. All right, Lachlan, you are safe, but you look back, and these people that you have never met before in your life are not. You could choose to assist them, provided that you had the right tools to do so. All right, Gizik, Kaylin, and Anduriel, make another athletics check to move forward.
21.
Gizik, you move forward. You only need one more. Kaylin,
8.
Yes.
total?
Yes.
Okay.
15.
All right, Anduriel, you are in the safety zone. You dash through past Lachlan. When you look back, or not, I don't know. Maybe he's less concerned. Yeah. So
No, I don't look back.
yeah, so you don't look back. You probably dash forward. Okay, Kaylin, you now need to make a knowledge arcana check 15 or an acrobatics check 15. So you need to roll and add 3 and hope you get 15.
Yes, 16 total.
All right. So Kaylin, you made an arcana check, I'm assuming. So
Yes.
what ends up happening is another, like a rock comes falling at you, but you scream and on pure instinct trigger your psionic powers, and the rock stops in midair and you run under it.
Cool.
And stops. Now, Lachlan, I would like to point out you saw this, by the way. If you look back, unless you're worried about the tanned gentleman who's running past you with the silver wrappings. So,
I'm watching. I'm ready to jump in and yank someone back if they're not going to make it.
okay, so meanwhile, Anduriel pulls out his water line. Okay, so all right. So you watch her and you see exactly what she does. She screams and a rock stops in midair above her head. All right, Gizik and Kaylin, next check. This could be your leap to freedom.
Which, by the
15.
way, Jesse thinks that's really cool. Kaylin is still mostly terrified.
Mostly terrified. Gizik, what'd you get?
I got a 15. I run right past Lachlan's knees.
Okay. Okay.
I got a 9.
You got a 9. Okay. So she stops, screams, a rock drops. She goes running ahead, and another rock comes at her. All right, make a knowledge arcana check and hope you're able to stop the next one.
13. No,
13.
19.
Nope. 19.
19 with the modifier.
All right, so once again, she screams as a rock falls, and she stops it in midair, and she tries to move forward, but another boulder falls, and she screams again, and this one explodes in midair. Now you look over her, and kind of like in X-Men 3, when everything's floating around Jean Grey, which is one of many nerd references I'm sure you're going to get before the end of the night.
Yes.
The things are floating, like the rocks are kind of stopping around her, and they're floating, but she looks panicked and terrified, and she has she's not doing it on purpose.
She has no chill whatsoever right now.
Yeah, there's no chill going on. All right.
I want to use bardic inspiration on her. I'm going to start singing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So rather than going out to help her, Lachlan steps back and gives her a hand. All right, you can do it. I'm going to play you a song all about it. So, okay. Lachlan, how do you perform the song? Do you just sing, or do you play?
He just sings. Yeah, full
All right.
acapella.
All right. So Lachlan starts singing, and the first thought that you have is, idiot.
Why is this man singing?
Who's singing? Like rocks are exploding. Who's singing? And you're looking out there. Anduriel, you and Gizik are probably having a very similar reaction, but as his music begins to wash over you, Gizik, it takes you all of 2 seconds to realize there's magic behind it. It's not even necessarily the way that he's singing as much as he's evoked the magic. Kaylin, you now have advantage on your next check.
Yay. Can it please be like Eye of the Tiger? Because that would be great.
Yeah, so roll 2 die 20s, and whichever one is higher.
11? Well, that's just the number. 17.
Okay, Kaylin, you all of a sudden get this burst of energy, and it's almost like his song pulls you forward, and you go darting through the passageway, and you're like, yeah, and it's terrifying. Now, the chamber is collapsing. The entrance that you just came through is also about to collapse, so it would behoove you to get farther down the chamber.
So wholesome, but got it.
Yeah. So you get further down the chamber. There's this big pool of dust and rock chips like flying ahead of you, and you're all kind of like, because as it the collapse happens, there's a big burst of dust, right? And you're all kind of coated in the dust, and for a minute there you can't see. And everybody can't see. You kind of wipe it out of your eyes, and you look
blind,
up.
Asthmatic, and lost. This is great.
You're blind, asthmatic, and lost, and you're also
old.
Old.
Exactly.
And short.
Yeah, and short.
This sounds like a cruise ship in Florida.
Yeah, it's very disturbing.
It does.
On all counts, it's very disturbing. Okay, now, as you clear your eyes and clear the dust away, you realize that unlike the lit chamber that you just ran out of, it's pitch black.
Ooh.
You can't see anything.
Well,
I'm going to bust out a sunrod.
You're going to bust out a sunrod?
Yeah.
Okay, so you crack open a sunrod and the chamber bursts into light. And Duriel, this is really unpleasant to you, so I'd like you to make a bluff check if you want to hide that it's unpleasant to you.
all right.
Are you trained in bluff?
I'm not trained in bluff.
All right, so just add your charisma modifier and half your level, which is nothing.
Yay. Charisma. So 17.
17. Okay. So the light bursts open, and Duriel holds up his hand like this, but then he just moves it away as if he were adjusting to the light. No deal. Would you like to make an insight check?
Always.
Okay.
19.
19. All right. The light is bothering him more than he wants you to know. Okay. Jesse, do you want to roll? Does Kaylin want to roll an insight check? Gizik?
Is she
Sure.
noticing that he's like squinting? And
Yeah, you just saw him lift up his hand like this, but then he moved his hand away.
yeah, I will definitely roll for that.
15.
Okay, are you trained in insight?
I don't think so. Let me double
Okay, look at your skills.
I have athletics, endurance, heal, perception, and religion.
No insight. All right, so you add your wisdom modifier. What's your wisdom, Kaylin?
My wisdom modifier must work out my desktop setting. Yes, I am. My wisdom is 13.
Okay, so you have a +1. So roll the die 20, you get a +1.
Okay. 8.
All right, so Gizik, you and Kaylin don't notice anything at all. He drops his hand, and you're like, oh, the light was bugging him. But Lachlan, you notice quite immediately that it's bothering him more than it should, and he's trying really hard not to let on to that.
I'm not going to call him on it.
No, well, there's no need
Here,
to.
hold this.
Now.
Okay, now I will also tell you that as you wipe the dust, whatever, and the sun rod comes up, everybody's image shimmers for a minute. And you all look like yourselves very briefly before the other image superimposes itself over you again.
Okay.
So you all get a
Kinda
glimpse
weird.
of each other. Gizik goes like this, like.
And Lachlan, does Lachlan see that?
Yes, everyone sees it.
Oh, he goes, like when he sees Gizik, it's like, oh no, what dire magic is affecting this poor gnome?
Okay, so Gizik, Lachlan looks at you and goes, like, briefly. Okay. Alrighty. Anyway.
Just make a rude gesture.
Okay. So, great. He flips you off
Keelan
unceremoniously.
just gives him like the side eye and just takes one extra step to the left.
Okay. All right. The hallway that you are in is fairly narrow, and you have the sun rod, and there you stand. There is more hallway to go down. There's only one direction to go in. So I'm assuming you all proceed, or are you going to say anything to each other?
I'm going to go that way.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going, but I'm going that way.
Is that what she says?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it hardly seems like there's a choice, so let's go together.
Again,
Okay.
low charisma.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow. I
Lachlan
just
Anyone else?
go.
says, wait, what does JT look like right now?
Right now,
Doesn't he look like a bruiser?
he looks human, and he's got a fairly average build, but he's rippling in corded muscle, and he's got tan skin, and he's bare chested. But
He's
he does
basically
have
Conan.
he's got silver wrappings around his arms and around his legs.
And I'm so tan, yo.
And he looks like he's tanned, as in he spent a lot of time meditating in the sun, kind of tan.
He's wicked tan, y'all.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, he's like the Situation, but not as annoying.
Lachlan's gonna say, "Would you like to lead?"
Yeah.
Yum.
Sorry.
Red Robin.
Didn't mean
No.
Okay.
I say, you know what? Fine. I have no problems leading. Everyone, let's just keep up and not make any more or let's just keep up and not get stuck in anything like that again. So yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Well, that
All
was
right,
kind
so
of fun.
he moves forward. He moves forward, and Lachlan, you're the only one whose image has not shifted or changed at all. The rest of you saw that.
Ooh.
So just FYI. All right, you go moving ahead, and you suddenly are all filled with a sense of incredible of what?
Joy?
Joy, yes. You all, in fact, want to break out in song, but it doesn't happen. No, you are all filled with an incredible purpose as a memory comes back to you. And you remember why you came here in the first place. Lachlan, of course, this does not apply to you. But Andurio, Gizik, and Kalen, you all remember that you came here to stop the followers of the Fell Ones, who are 3 terrible deities who are trying to destroy the world. And you remember that that's why you came here. And not only do you remember that, but you know that if you don't get to them soon, that they are going to escape and wreak havoc on the civilized lands.
With that knowledge, do I now recall who these people are? Like, do I know that we're together, or just that I am on this?
No. You know that for yourself. You don't remember them at all. These are perfect strangers, but you know why you came here. And if you don't get to these worshipers of the Fell Ones, then all of the civilized lands could be destroyed.
Okay. Well, for the time being, that knowledge doesn't matter so much. We just need to kind of keep pressing forward until end up somewhere.
Okay. All right. So, my friends, you go pressing forward, and the chamber starts to quake again. This smaller hallway that you are down. It's still a big hallway. It's probably half the size of the room that I'm in right here that you might see. So it's like, I don't know, maybe 15 feet across. It's a fairly good sized hallway, but you hear another boom, and then cracks in the ceiling again, and the stones start shifting.
Run.
Did they not build this thing to code or what?
Okay.
Clearly not. I mean.
Yeah, and that's when another memory comes back to you. The memory that comes back to you is the memory of the righteous armies that all 3 of you are a part of. The righteous armies are assailing this stronghold, and they're waging a terrible battle outside while the 3 of you entered underground. And so you know that what is raging on the outside is likely your allies, and their intent is to bring this place crumbling down. But you have got to get to these priests soon, or it will have all been in vain, and all of these lives will be lost.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Hopefully. So Kaylin is in this other person's body, but does she still have her own memories?
Yeah. Kaylin is Kaylin. She just doesn't look like Kaylin.
She doesn't like being underground, and she doesn't like being in confined spaces.
No.
To her, she wants to get out.
Okay.
Like, point me to the nearest exit. Let's move.
Well, I'm sure everybody bolts, but while you're running, that memory surfaces for you. You've got to stop the priests of the Fell Ones. Okay. Now, that, my friends, is where you enter into that chamber that I emailed all of you.
Okay.
Okay. And you enter in just as the entrance that you came through collapses.
Again.
What a rush.
Yeah. Timing. Yeah, very good. Now, the chamber that you are currently in does not seem like it is so disturbed. The stone looks really solid. And that is because it's not a built passage. It is hewn out of the rock. So what you're looking at is a solid rock chamber, and it's much sturdier than the one you entered. So that you look up, and the ceiling is quite high. The ceiling goes up so high that you have a hard time seeing the top. Even with the sun rod, which is no longer necessary because there are two braziers. They're a little bit disturbing looking. There are two chandeliers. Those are the circles on the map that I gave you. Mm-hmm. And those two chandeliers are basically metallic chandeliers that look like a bunch of blades that have been crisscrossed, sticking out all different ways.
Very Game of Thrones.
It's very Game of Thrones, and there's fire in the center of it. There's no wood, but you smell oil lamp.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, now that is nice because it lights the chamber quite well. Now, that being said, there are 3 statues in front of you, and they are hideous to behold. I would like each one of you to make a knowledge religion check.
Okay.
Let's see.
20.
20?
Total. Not a natural. Yeah.
Okay. We call that a dirty 20 now.
Dirty 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
7.
15 total.
15 total? 7?
Excuse me. 26.
26. Okay. So everyone but Gizik. Gizik, you're too busy staring at the shiny braziers with the swords and blades coming out of them and thinking, how could I take one of those home? And to the home that you don't really have. And the rest of you, you feel an unholy aura coming off of those statues. Okay. Now, there are 3 of them. One of them is a statue of a demonic-looking figure, 8 squares high, with a huge mouth, a mouth that is full of jagged, sharp fangs, vampiric sharp fangs, shark teeth. I mean, just all these different kinds of teeth. And its mouth is most of its face. And the rest of the statue is demonic, except that it's got kind of like a tail and bat wings. And to those of you
still kind of fits.
Yeah, well, it still kind of fits. Those of you who made your religion checks, you remember that this deity, this fell one's name was the Devourer. In the center, there is a statue with a demon that is covered in horns. It's got 2 horns coming out of the front, and it's got 2 horns out of the back, and 1 horn coming out of the center. So it almost looks like a crown.
That's gross.
In a way. And it also has spikes coming out of its elbows, and it has...
It's just excessive.
Where its hands should be are 2 spikes coming out of its arms. And it has bat wings and clawed feet. And you remember that this horned creature is called Bonquiqui. No. You remember that this horned creature is called the Enslaver. And then you look over... Lachlan, you do not know any of this. You've never seen these effigies before. They look weird to you, and you're not sharing in the memory. So you look at them and you're like, wow, that's sincerely ugly. And so Lachlan's
like displeased about the lack of artistic ability.
Yeah. Lachlan, you're offended by the statues. They're beautifully made, but they're radiating an unholy aura. There's energy coming off of them. They're clearly enchanted. The third one is an enormous statue covered in eyes. It's got 2 eyes where they should be, and then it has a center eye, and then it has on the side of its face more eyes, right? And then it's got hands that are also eyes, and you remember that this deity's name was the Watcher. So you remember all 3 of these fell deities, and you know they're referred to collectively, this small pantheon, as the fell ones, and their purpose is to destroy the world. They have no other desire than to watch it burn. In fact, you even remember that these were actually demon lords who became deities. So just FYI. And it's coming back to you, and it's not a disturbing experience that these memories come back to you. It almost feels comforting in a way. Anduriel, because of your bloodline, it's an extremely not only gratifying and pleasant, but normal experience for you to be recalling memories like this. You've possibly lived numerous situations where you might recall experiences from this. So anyway, now as you look around, you are all back to your normal appearances.
Yes.
So
much better.
Yeah. So Gizik suddenly
my voice goes like this.
Yeah.
I'll have a voice again.
Okay, where Gizik was standing below you, he is now towering over most of you, except you can describe what he looks like. Although you'll have to do it again in episode 1, just FYI.
Oh, okay. Gizik is, slightly tinted green, about 7 feet tall. He could be 8 or 9, maybe, if he was standing up straight. He's kind of hunched over.
Or posture.
Large, kind of bulbous nose, maybe some fur growing on his shoulders.
Generally, just kind of
Generally
gross.
kind of unkempt and, yeah.
Okay. Kaylin.
You can probably smell him from wherever you're at.
All right. Lachlan, you getting out perfume? Like...
Just walking around him with one of those perfume sprayers.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of an herbal smell, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you walk into the Whole Foods store?
Kaylin would probably actually like that then.
Oh, that makes it
He
better.
smells like forest.
There you go.
He stinks,
like
but it's an
Petco.
earthy stink.
He stinks, but it's natural. That's not, yeah. Kaylin, what do you look like?
Kaylin is about 5'10". Right now, she's rather on the skinny side and a little underfed because, well, she's on the run. She has a long mass of auburn hair that's kind of like one half braided, one half just doing really whatever it wants. And she's wearing what you would assume are kind of close to ranger clothes. Not anything that looks like finery or anything. It's much more practical and Unitarian.
Okay. Lachlan, what do you look like?
I already
Pretty.
said.
Okay, all right. You look like Lachlan. All right. Anduriel, what do you look like?
Pretty. I'm about 6 feet tall. I have black hair. If you are close enough to me, you see my eyes are, there's not really a color to my eyes. They're just they look like regular, except they're black. Like the pupils are just really big. I have just sort of athletic build, black hair, shoulder length, kind of like the Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings, kind of that mussy look.
Okay. All right. The other thing that I will tell you is Lachlan is extremely attractive, and he is very well kempt. He looks like he just walked out of a salon. So just so you know.
Of course,
now,
he's the bard.
Yeah, that being said, Anduriel is unnaturally attractive. Anduriel is here's another nerd reference. Anduriel is much like Thomas from the Dresden Files. He could wake up on the wrong side of the bed sick, and people would still be taking model pictures like he was posing.
He'd be all over Instagram.
He's all over Instagram. So he looks like he woke up Beyonce or something. Except anyway.
Where my skin was really tan before, it's much more pale. Not like unnaturally pale, but when you look at him, you notice that's a little more pale than normal.
It's a stark contrast to who was standing there. So anyway, you're all kind of looking at each other, and in front of these 3 statues, which are radiating some kind of unholy energy, there are 3 altars, and the altars are stained with blood, and there are bones and ragged pieces of flesh on top of them.
I thought you were going to say pizza.
Yes, pizzas. Pizzas. One currency all gods will accept. So,
one of the statues is a mechanical mouse, and he starts to sing songs.
Something like that.
God, yeah. That is horrifying.
Now, there are 7 creepy men with mustaches walking around also. Speaking of mustaches, just so you know, JT and I are wearing what we call our grime stash. This is not our normal look. For those of you who have been disturbed from the beginning of the stream, we wear our grime stashes. JT, I'll let you tell them really quickly.
Well, real quick, we're BYU football fans, and a couple weeks ago, BYU beat the number 6 team in the country, Wisconsin. And I said on my podcast, Bandmate with JT, that if BYU beat Wisconsin, I'd grow this lovely guy in honor of one of the coaches on the BYU coaching staff. So here it is. I know it's not great. It's okay. And until we lose, it stays where it's at.
Yeah. So, and I made that deal with him. And when BYU beat Wisconsin, I got a text from him shortly thereafter saying, "Hey,
remember that bet we made?
Yeah. Remember that? Yeah." So
I had to walk around Disneyland last week with this thing on, like,
oh Lord, that's a terrifying thought.
From me. Don't look at him.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I couldn't go to Fantasyland. They were trying to kick me out all the time. Like, sir,
yeah,
no, you're not allowed. We draw the line.
Yeah, I had all of last week at work with this, and I walked in, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is your first work week. I don't know what you're complaining about. You were walking around the happiest place on earth. They had to be nice to you." So, all right, moving on. So there's small interlude. So, you realize that this room is just kind of an antechamber, and if you're going to get to these priests, you have to get through the other aperture, which you can kind of see around the statue.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody, I'm assuming, is making their way. Are you running too, or are you?
Yes.
Heck no.
Running.
No. I'm like stalking at this point because I'm a little bit leery, and I'm just sort of like stalking my way around.
Every statue's a golem, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. If you're a new D&D player, for those of you who are seeing this, it's it's a rule that I taught Ryan very early on, that if I'm mentioning a statue in the room, it's a golem. So
anytime a DM mentions something, it's important and it's trying to kill you. The end.
Yes. The end. Okay. Anyway, all right, here's what happens. First of all, I need to know where you guys are going. Are you going between the many eyes statue or the horn statue? Or are you going between the fangs and the horns? Or are you going on the side?
I'm going between many eyes and horns.
Me too.
I'm going between horns and fangs.
Okay. Give me your squares, everyone, by number and by letter. Let's start with Lachlan. Where are you?
Well, I'm gonna move right along column G.
Okay. So Lachlan, you're gonna be on G13. Anduriel.
O14.
Okay, Anduriel, you are on O14. Gizik.
I'll be H14.
H14. Okay, Gizik and Kalen.
I'm gonna say H13.
I'm gonna say H13,
Just
right in front of Gizik. Okay. You mean in front
Sorry,
of?
is that with a K or a C?
Oh, is that in front of? Okay.
Kalen is with a C.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason for that.
Which square was Lachlan in?
Lachlan is in G13.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We don't need die 20 anyway. And we're not
So
paying.
if I
for
wanted
it.
to be behind Gizik, would I be then on 15?
Yes.
Okay. That's
a good question, because where on this map are we coming from? Are we coming from the side that the altars are not on, or the side where the altars are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got confused by the doorways.
Okay. All right. So we are coming from the line 26.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We are coming from line 26. Moving on. Alrighty. Now, here's what happens. You get to that spot, line 13, when there is an enormous boom, like from that aperture. You see that swirling part on line 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A fissure opens up in the air, and it's like a really kind of just disturbing tear. There's this loud sonic boom. There's a crack of thunder, and wind kind of bursts forth from this tear. And it's like a glowing red fissure in the air. And out come 2 howling, shrieking women with mottled green and reddish skin and horns coming out of the front. Not enormous, huge horns, but just small, pronounced horns. They're thin,
like
they're
goats.
tapered. Yeah, like goats almost. Okay, now make a knowledge religion check, please, to see if you can identify what these are.
12.
Okay, Gizik, you have no idea.
I got 14.
Okay.
I got 21.
Okay. Kaylin, you are the only one who may have remembered who these are. You think that these might be the Dames of Hades.
Oh, dear.
If they are, is really, really bad. The Dames of Hades, you can't, with the check you made, you can't remember much. You think that they're the heroes of evil. Like when Superman shows up to save the day, that's the Dames of Hades. They show up when evil is in trouble to rescue them.
Oh, dear.
You're not sure if they're demons or if they're devils, but that's pretty much all that you can remember. And they occupy squares I5. That's D. We're going to call that D1, Dame 1, and M5, D2. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, they come through, ripping through there. They're carrying big spears, and they are howling and shrieking with this unearthly rage. Kaylin, as a scion, you are very sensitive to people who are, they're sensitive to their feelings, sometimes their aura. They're giving off a palpable, tangible, almost psionic, but not quite, aura of just rage. They look like they're rage incarnate, and they're coming for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, roll for initiative.
Yay!
So, question.
All right.
Yes.
Is she like having a migraine right now because of what they're doing?
It's unpleasant, but it's not hurting you.
Okay.
Not only that, but also, Sister Victoria has taught her how to channel her psionic mind to be able to ward off hostile
blocks and what have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kaylin has some experience with this. Okay. The Danes get themselves, they rolled a 4, so they only get an 8. Lachlan, what do you get?
9.
8. Okay. Way to beat the curve.
I have a 29.
Okay.
Do we get any modifiers on this, or is this just straight?
Yes, you have an initiative bonus, Kaylin, that is above your hit points. Just follow your hit points up, and you'll find it.
Anything else other than the initiative bonus?
No, that's all you add, Enduriel.
Okay.
What'd you
Okay,
get?
I have 8 with the
A
bonus.
guy could hope.
And what'd you get, Enduriel?
20.
20. All right, Enduriel, Gizik, Lachlan. All right, what is your dexterity, Kaylin?
My dex is 13.
All right, their dex is higher. So, Kaylin, you are going to go after them. So, technically, Kaylin, you might as well be a 7.
Okay, got it.
Unfortunately, you are last in initiative. Fortunately,
Okay,
that
she's
means
good
you
with that.
have the most time to prepare. Okay.
Super okay with that.
All righty. Now, moving on. Gizik, you are first in initiative. You see these devilish, demonic, something like that, women with the green, reddish skin. They have silver armor, but they look for all the world like fiendish Amazons to you. And they're carrying enormous war spears and javelins. They have a couple of javelins on their back. So, Gizik, what do you do?
I reach up my hand, and the little black ball shoots out towards the first one, number 1, and I'm going to try and bewitch it.
You're going to try to bewitch one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming that by episode 1, everyone will have already heard us talk about the witch class, which is a homebrew class designed by Ryan and me. So, Gizik, their will is only a 12, so you have a good chance of getting them.
24.
All right. So you bewitch. Do you bewitch number 1 or number 2?
Number 1.
All right. Number 1 is now bewitched. All right. Now, that's your minor action. What would you like to do with your standard and your move?
First of all, I'd like to give it, with the bewitch, I'd like to give that one a vulnerability 2.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move, let's see.
Just tell us what square you want to move to.
I'll move up to H8.
All right. Oh, you're getting right in the thick of it, aren't you?
Yeah, I kind of have to.
All right. Kizik, you move up to H8. All righty. And what are you going to do with your standard action, my friend?
I'm going to sap his soul.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's see. So this is Actually, no, I'll wait until they're closer.
Okay. So what are you going to do?
I am going to kind of charge in and claw at it with a brutal charge.
Okay. Is that daily a brutal charge?
No, it's
or
encounter.
It's an encounter power? All right. The Dames of Hades AC is 17, if that's what you're targeting.
Okay. So then this should be... I think it's a plus 10, 17.
17.
So
right.
I'll charge in another 2 spaces to
engage.
To H6, yeah.
All right. All right, Gizik, you hit. What kind of damage does this power do?
Well, it knocks it prone, and it also does... what's the strength modifier? 3, so it does 6 damage. It knocks it prone.
Alrighty. So this is actually fairly disturbing to watch.
8 damage. I forgot. He has vulnerability too.
That is true. Thank you. All right. This is actually fairly disturbing to watch. Gizik, who no longer looks like this tiny, cute little Fae thing, which ironically makes Kaylin feel a little bit better, as Kaylin is terrified of the Fae. So he goes loping forward with these, and all of a sudden you realize his arms are just huge, right? And he comes up, and she lifts her spear, but he darts in really fast and goes, "Lah!" And he just rakes his claws right across her, and then he grabs her hair and throws her into the ground. And it's kind of disturbing to watch, even though she's your enemy and you know she wants to murder you. All right, very good. That is Gizik's turn. Yes. All right, Anduriel.
Okay. So I'll have to real quick. This is the first time, like me being a what do you call it, a brawler, right?
A melee attacker, yeah.
Melee guy. Sorry, melee. Yeah. All right, so my speed is 6.
Yep.
I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna try and get to the number 2.
Okay.
The number 2. So I can get to...
You can't quite get there before you have to do something else. But what you could do...
So I get to N8, and then I guess, can I charge her?
Yeah, if you want. I don't think any of your powers work like charge attacks, so this is just going to be a melee basic. But right. You know that you can use that encounter power of yours that's a triggered power with any attack you do.
Right, yes.
So are you going to be using that, or are you going to...
Yes.
All right, well, then I'll let you describe that. But first, let's see if you hit before you use it.
Okay, so I get up to N6.
Okay, Anduriel, you are right up on the second dame.
Okay.
And
so it's just melee basic.
Yep, which I think I wrote on your sheet for you. It's if I did, it's above your powers on the right side, or right above your powers. Should say melee basic. Did I give it to you?
I don't see it.
Okay. If in that case, it is half your level, which is nothing, and then you get to add
a little too much joy out of that, frankly.
Yeah, well, I am the DM. It's my prerogative. Anyway, so this is not the musical episode. That will come later. That's another stream. Okay. You get to add your strength bonus, which I believe is 16, right? So you got to add a +3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you get that a +3, and then +3 for your weapon proficiency. So you have a total of +6. You need an 11 to hit.
Okay.
You get a +1 for charging.
Oh, does he? Okay, he gets a +1 for charging. So you only need a 10.
All right, I got a 16.
All right, so you got her. Now, are you going to be using your encounter power with this?
That would be the drinker one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, because I get 1d10 extra damage with that.
Yes, you do, and you drain a surge.
And I gain a surge.
All right, so roll 1d6 for your kukri.
Yep.
And then 1d10.
10.
And then you add your damage bonus.
The weapon damage. No, the vamp. Okay. Oh.
This is now a vampire attack.
Oh, okay. So 22.
Okay, 22. All right, you get a temporary surge, Anduriel, so now you're at 3 healing surges. You don't use the surge, but you have it.
Okay.
All right, Anduriel. Now, if Gizik's attack was disturbing to watch, and Duriel's is a little bit horrifying in a way. He comes running forward, and rather than Gizik, who's loping with his arms, and Duriel does that whole hentai, run with his arms.
Oh yes, the Naruto run.
Yeah, he does the Naruto run, and then the Dame of Hades, she takes the spear and she swings. He easily ducks under it, slashes up, grabs her by the armor, yanks her forward, and sinks fangs that emerge from his teeth into her neck.
And we all see this, right?
Everybody sees this, yeah. And she doesn't react the way that you would expect someone in her position to react. She doesn't scream in anything but rage. She's just like, ah! It's just absolute savagery. And Kaylin, you're not closer yet, but you feel the rage around her increase.
And she can see what he just did.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she sees exactly.
As a sidebar, she freezes, does one of these, and then bends over and vomits.
Okay. All right. Okay. So he bites, Gizik claws, and Kaylin's looking around going, who are these disgusting people that
He was fine with Gizik's, but the drinking the blood was like, and we're done.
Yeah. Okay. JT, I will tell you that as Anduriel drinks her blood, it's disturbing. It's not at all pleasant. It does give you strength, but you almost get some of that rage that fills you too. And it's irritating because you can't control it, the rage. And you're normally used to probably having quite a bit of control over your emotions, your reactions, and you can't control the rage that fills you as you drink of her blood. So, disturbing. Anyway, now, you also are close enough to her, both you and Gizik, that you are affected by her unnerving rage aura. Anybody that starts their turn in the Dame's aura takes a -2 to attacks. Because you cannot control that rage that she's emanating. Okay, so that would be Anduriel. Anduriel, that was your move and your standard. Did you have a minor that you wanted to do?
No.
Okay. All right, Lachlan, you're up.
Okay, he's gonna look at the dame on the floor next to Gizik, and decide he's gonna go for the standing one. I don't want a penalty to hit, so he's gonna move to L9.
All right.
And then cast Blunder on the Dame 2.
All right. What is that target?
Will.
All right. Her will is only 12.
I got 17.
Okay. So what does Blunder do?
It fogs her mind. It's going to do some damage, and then slide her and allow an ally to make a melee basic attack with a +3 bonus.
Ooh.
Which I'm going to let Anduriel make a nice little chop on her, so he gets a +3.
All right. Are you going to slide her in between the two of you, or what square do you want to move her into?
I'm going to move her. I don't think I want to get that close at this point.
He's looking
so I think I'll just slide her to N5.
Okay.
Over 1.
All right, Anduriel, now she is standing to the left of you, basically, rather than right in front of you.
Well, I'm N6.
Yep.
So yeah, she's right in front of me there.
Okay.
So it does 8 points of damage, and
what kind of damage does it do?
It's untyped.
Okay. All righty then. All right, and this is to the one that was still standing, right?
Right.
All right, that he just ripped the. All right, 8 points of damage. Boom. Okay. Now, how do you picture this magic taking effect?
He really just kind of whistles.
Okay.
And like a little musical tune, and then wiggles his fingers like he's orchestrating moving a little marionette.
Okay.
And just slides her over, and then shouts out to Anduriel, "Hit her!"
Okay. Alrighty. So, unsurprisingly, all this provokes with her is more rage. That's all you get from her. But her rage is slightly interrupted because You do the marionette thing, and she's like, "Ugh." She's walking, not of her own accord. She trips, and Anduriel, your fangs tear longer welts or furrows in her neck because she's walking away from you, and you're looking at her like, are you an idiot? You're like leaving yourself exposed. And then Anduriel, you get to make another melee basic attack.
20.
Is that a natural 20, Anduriel?
Natural 20.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is going to occur at episode 1, so I will let our viewers know what natural 20 in our stream means. Natural 20 in our game gives you the opportunity to instantly kill your enemy, whoever that enemy might be, whether you're fighting a demigod or a drow or a giant, vicious dire chicken, who are known to be very tough opponents. Now, all you have to do is back it up like a normal critical and hit again. So back it up.
That's with the die 20, right?
Yep. And their AC is 17. Come on. You need an 11. 11. You got an 11 exactly? Okay. All right.
Nice.
All right. Now what we do is we roll the 1d6.
Woo!
Anduriel has automatically critted, which means that he does maximum damage. If he rolls a 6 on the 1d6, he instantly kills her.
Oh, come on.
I wish we could angle the camera down to see.
Oh,
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
Oh.
Okay. However, it is max damage. So you did 6 points of damage. Didn't insta-kill her, but you did 6 points of damage and add your damage bonus for vampire attack.
That is plus 6, so 12.
So 12 points of damage. Okay. So she blunders past you, Anduriel, and she rips herself out of your fangs, and you're like, are you stupid? What are you doing? And then as she kind of moves around you, you flip your kukri around and you stab it right into her shoulder. And she predictably is just like, and just starts screaming even louder. Now, that would be Lachlan's turn. All right, now it is the Dames of Hades, my friends.
Oh dear.
Wait, I got a minor action.
Oh, what would you like to do for your minor action, Lachlan?
I'm going to do some inspiration.
Mm-hmm. You're going to grant Bardic Inspiration to whom?
Kaylin.
Okay.
Oh, you're so
All right.
kind.
Kaylin, Lachlan, possibly disturbed by the bites and claws of the other two companions,
I'm
has
looking rather
decided
green
to...
skills.
Yeah. So are you playing your yarding or are you singing a song?
No, he turns to her and says, "It's your turn, my dear," and then he starts
Oh.
to sing.
Okay. So Kaylin, you're disturbed. You just threw up. You're looking up and you're like, it's going to be okay. It is. Anyway, it's going to be all right. So anyway, moving on. Unfortunately, it's not your turn. It's the dame's turn. So
Okay.
here we go. They are going to use their power. Actually, their first round, they can only attack with their war spear. So they're both going to do that. What is your AC, Anduriel?
Are any of them bloodied?
Yes, and the one that you're fighting is bloodied.
Okay, then my AC is 14.
Oh, wait. Who bloodied her?
Anduriel.
Okay, then I can use Virtue of Valor to give him 4 temporary hit points.
Ooh. Okay.
How kind, Sam. Thank you.
Okay. So Anduriel, you know Lachlan or Kaylin, you can't really see which. One of them is using magic behind you because you saw the puppet movement, right? But then there's another chant. You hear more chanting behind you, and all of a sudden you're covered in a red glow around your skin, and you can sense that it's shielding you. So you're like, oh, that's interesting. For once, the red isn't coming from me. So there you go. 4 temporary hit points. Anything else, Lachlan, or can I go? Are you done? Are you done? Okay.
Be nice.
All right. Okay. Be nice. I'm the DM. Okay. So here we go. What is your AC, Anduriel?
14.
Okay, she needs an 8. And she gets an 8. Now, at some point, this would be where you might want to use a utility power, but we're level 1 and you don't have any utility powers. So, unfortunately, she hits you with her war spear and she does 6 points of damage. So finally, after you've ripped out half of her throat and you've stabbed her with the kukri and you've drained her blood, she comes around and manages to get into a defensive position and she stabs out. and she catches you like right in the side. You dodge away quickly, but it cuts a furrow in your side. All right, the other Dame of Hades, Gizik. She gets up from a prone position, and surprisingly, she's angry. So, yeah. And she is going to attack you with the same attack. What is your AC, Gizik?
15.
Okay, she has a +6, so she needs a 6 to hit you. And she got a 13. So, bada bing, bada boom. And she does, I just had my 1d8. What did I do? All right, here we go. She does 5 points of damage to you. She barely nicks you. You're kind of like loping around her like in a circle, and she's just like, ugh. She reaches out and she kind of nicks you on the neck, but she doesn't really do too serious damage. All right, and that, unfortunately for them, is all that they can do right now. Now, that being said, I will tell you, Halen, you can sense that their rage is empowering them. And it's going to allow them to do things next round that they couldn't do the first round.
Oh dear.
So, Kaylin, dear heart, what you gonna do?
Now, if I wanted to use Mind Thrust,
Yes.
that within my range, considering where I'm standing.
You can hit either one of them with Mind Thrust.
Okay, is there one that is more
Oh yes.
onto damage or weakened than the other?
The one Anduriel ripped the throat out of is really badly off.
That was kind of a foolish question. It answered itself.
The B1 is vulnerable from the Bewitch.
Yes, but only by 2 hit points.
Yeah.
Okay.
His Bewitch is not that powerful yet, but it starts to add up.
Okay.
So if you hit the first one that Gizik is fighting, you're going to do a little bit more damage. But if you hit the one Anduriel is fighting and you do enough damage, you might drop her.
Okay. I will hit the first one.
Okay, the one Gizik is
Or aim
fighting.
for the first one anyways.
All right. Mind Thrust attacks Will. Her Will is 12. What is your Scion bonus to attack?
I believe it's 4.
Okay, so you need an 8. Yep, I think
So
you're
I
right.
need to roll an 8?
You need to roll an 8.
But you get to roll twice because you're inspired.
Yes, you're inspired. So you get to roll. Now, once you have inspiration and use it, it's done, right, Lachlan?
Right.
Okay.
Which Jesse thinks is adorable, but Kaylin's like, why is the fancy man helping me? Like, the fancy man in all the pretty clothing. But also she'll take it because she really wants to get out of here. So I got a 16.
That's a hit.
Without any mods, so...
Okay. So you roll... Well, that depends. Are you going to use any of your power points to augment Mind Thrust?
I think I'm going to hold on to those for now.
All right. So you roll 1 die 10
Okay.
and add your Scion damage bonus.
Let me find. There it is. Okay. Here's a 10. So I got 10 with the bonus.
Okay. So, Kaylin, you do damage the Dame of Hades, but here's what happens. Lachlan, you are standing next to her so you can see this. Kaylin puts her hands up to her head and just kind of closes her eyes. She opens them, and her eyes are glowing with... What color of light would you say, Kaylin?
Purple.
Her eyes are glowing with a purple light. And you look up, and a purple glow begins to kind of like envelop the Dame of Hades' head. And she's like, ah, she's looking around and then Kaylin goes like that. And it looks like somebody did the Mike Tyson like 1-2 combo on her. She goes like this, like that, and looks like somebody just clubbed her upside the head. Little blood trickles out of her nose, and she looks like she's rocked. Now, Kaylin, I will tell you this: you felt guards up around her mind. She is resisting some of your psychic damage. So if you use a psychic attack on her, it's not going to be as useful as perhaps your blade.
Quick question, because I might have rolled the wrong die. Which one is the 10-sided die?
It's the one that looks like this.
This one?
That one.
Oh, no, it's the percentile.
Yeah, it's the percentile. It's that same color dice. Or
So
shape.
let me re-roll, because I'm pretty sure I rolled the wrong dice.
All right.
I got a 70. What does that mean?
A 7. So you actually did 11. So you did 1 more point of damage.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I rolled the right one.
And I did count the Bewitch vulnerability, Gizik, just so you know. Okay. All right, that's the dames. All right, now something very disturbing happens on the second round of combat. The portal opens up, and another Dame of Hades comes leaping through the portal. and lands in K5. Dame number 3.
Okay, so towards the front.
Yep. She's right in front of the portal, but it's not their turn yet. We're back up to the top. Gizik, it's your turn. She's standing up. She barely nicked you. Her rage is mounting, Gizik, and she looks, if anything, more menacing to you. Keep in mind, while you are in her aura, you have a -2 to attacks because of her rage.
Oh, no.
Before we start the next round, can we do like a check of where everyone is on the board, just so we're all...
Sure. Okay. Dame 1 is on 5I. Dame 3, the new one, is on 5K. Dame 2, the one Anduriel is fighting, I have her on 6L, but I think you have her elsewhere. Where did you slide her to?
5N.
N5.
N5.
Okay. So I'm moving that Dame to N5. Anduriel, you are on 6M, correct?
6N as in Nancy.
All right. So that I'm just moving you over 1, Anduriel. Lachlan, you are on 9L.
Right.
And Kaylin, you are on 13H.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. That didn't even take a minute. Okay, unless it did. Anyway, moving on.
Working well.
All right,
Wait,
yeah, we're not having a problem.
Sorry, where's Gizik?
Gizik is on 6H.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, and it's okay. And if anybody wants to ask or stop me at any time to make sure, that's totally fine. We'll go ahead. It's an easy fix. Okay. Alrighty. So, moving on, we are. Whose turn was it? That was.
It's my turn. Yeah. Top.
Gizik, you are in her aura unless you move out of it.
Oh, so I thought you said we got the -2 if we start our turn next to them. It's just if we're in the aura.
You've started your turn in 6H, right?
Yes.
Then you are adjacent to her.
So if I am no longer adjacent, do I get those?
If you move out of her aura, you will no longer be affected by it.
I will change the effect on my Bewitch.
Okay.
And she is going to move over to the right 1 to J5.
Okay. So Gizik, who has bewitched her, uses the charm and does largely what Lachlan does. He goes like this. He goes like that, and she goes and she starts like walking over out of her own control.
All right, and now I wish they were a little more clustered up, but I'm going to attack with Sap the Soul. I'm going to kind of reach out, and the energy is going to fly out of them into me.
Okay.
So that'll hit D1, and I'll attack D1 and D3.
All right, so it's a burst.
Yes, it's a burst.
All right. What does it target?
And it targets Fortitude.
Their Fortitude is 14. Unfortunately, that's their highest defense, my friend.
14, huh?
Yeah. Farteen.
All right,
Kirby's
so
sorry.
D1, I got a 14.
Okay, D1, you got a 14. Hit.
And for the Dame number 3, where'd that go? I missed Dame number 3.
Dang it. Okay.
By how much?
By
What'd you roll?
8, I rolled a 2.
Oh, okay.
So
Can't help you.
Yeah.
Sorry, not much you can do about that. Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be 7 damage.
Okay. And what does that do for you?
I get temporary hit points. I basically, suck their soul and get a little bit stronger.
All right. Do you just picture it as red energy, or do you conjure the tree?
A tree. No, just kind of like almost like a translucent blood flows out of them over to me.
All right. So Gizik reaches out, and a red aura surrounds her, and it just begins kind of like dripping through the air towards Gizik's hand, and he draws it in and absorbs the energy. And Anduriel, it looks like an average day to you. So, except his way of doing it, you're like, I got to figure out how to do it that way. So,
He's just having so many levels of roast out right now.
yeah, yeah. Poor darling Kaylin. Okay. Okay, moving on. All right, that's Gizik. Gizik, do you want to do it with a move? Do you want to run? Do you want to what?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move down to M7, kind of diagonally between Anduriel and Lachlan.
All right. right, so Gizik goes loping away. And Duriel, you vaguely become aware that Gizik is behind you, which is disturbing for probably anybody. So there you have it. Okay. Alrighty, and that would be Gizik's turn. Now we have Anduriel. It's your turn. She's in front of you. If you hit her hard enough, you look like you could take her down. She's badly wounded. However, you are taking a -2 to your attacks because her aura of rage is infecting you and you can't control your emotions.
Got it. Okay. Can I use Weapon of Divine Protection?
Yes, you can.
Versus armor class.
Her armor class is 14.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do that. -2. Sweet. I get a 15.
Okay, that's a hit.
All right. Sorry, it says, so I get my weapon plus the weapon attack bonus and then plus 1d6.
Yes. Now, are you going to add your second blood drinker to this or no?
No.
Okay, you're going to save that? All right.
I'm going to save that up, yep.
All right, weapon of divine protection. So
when it says 1W, is that just a 1d?
1d6, just one weapon damage. Yeah, 1d6 is what the kukri does.
Okay. All right. Get 4. I get 10.
Total?
10 total.
All right, and you dropped her.
I can give him 4 more temporary hit points.
Because he dropped her?
Yeah, Virtue of Valor.
Virtue of Valor. All right.
Once
so
around.
Lachlan casts again, and you're surrounded by that red aura of energy. But it's not blood red. It's kind of a faint rosy kind of red. It's very pleasant.
And then for what it's worth, allies adjacent to me get +2 to the defenses until end.
Okay.
So I guess that would be just Gizik.
Yep.
All right. Gizik, he reaches back and he chants some kind of a prayer. Is it just in a different language, JT, or does he say anything?
Yeah, it's just kind of a different language. Nobody really understands.
All right. So he takes his blade and he whispers across it like that, and a lingering shadow lingers on the blade, and he comes around and goes, and he stabs it right into her heart. Okay? And when he does that, she drops to the floor, and he flings the shadow energy away, and it comes in front of you, Gizik, and it's kind of like swirling in front of you like a shield. It's weird magic. You certainly never saw Elspeth do something like that with a weapon, but it seems like the kind of thing that she was also able to do. So you definitely recognize what it does. Okay, and that is
so with my move action, I'm going to move to I'll move to L6.
You're going to shift to L6. Okay. So, Anduriel, you shift 1 square to L6.
It's 2 squares.
Wasn't he in 6N? Oh, yeah. So, Anduriel, you can only move 1 square on your move unless you want to provoke an attack of opportunity.
But
From
in
him.
What? Oh, wait, you dropped it. Sorry, never mind. I'm sorry,
She
I got
did.
excited. Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
Okay.
You think she's dead.
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, she
She's
has
like,
a great big hole in her chest, and she's dropped to the floor, so she looks pretty dead.
Okay. Well, yeah, I moved over there so I can. Yeah.
Engage number 3. I got you. Okay, Lachlan.
All right. Let's keep helping people out. I'm going to do staggering note on D3.
Okay.
So
what is that target?
That target's will.
Her will is 12. Go for it.
I got a 9.
Okay. That's it?
No, I mean I got a 9 total.
Oh.
So
In that case, terribly sorry you lose. So, Lachlan, how do you use staggering note? Because he doesn't sing it.
no, he swings his sword and it's like it's a thunder attack. So it is a thrum that just comes from his sword, and because it lances out just at one creature, so it's a headache.
Okay. So, Lachlan takes his sword and he starts chanting and swinging his sword like through some kind of artistic routine, and you can tell it's supposed to make music, but then it's like and it comes over and it hits you, and you're like, oh, and it misses entirely. So
Human's just staring at him. Was that your plan?
Yeah.
I don't think it went the right way.
Total distraction. Intentional.
Distraction force.
With my minor action, I want to activate my Defender aura and then move to K6.
Okay.
So if they're within 1, they're considered marked by me.
Well, you're going to move like right up on them, huh?
Well, the aura is only an aura 1.
Oh, well, you could move to 7M and be shedding it to both Gizik and Anduriel.
Well, it's not an aura for my allies. It's a marked aura. So D1 and D3 are marked.
Okay. All right. So you have marked them now with this?
Yeah, if they're next to me, they're in my Defender aura.
All right. Cool. Well, I don't know much about the Defender aura, so you'll be happy to educate as you move along. All right. Very good. Okay. So now, ladies and gentlefish, it would be their turn, Evil's turn. Okay. Now, because you were both able to break away from being adjacent to them, some of their rage dissipates. But you can tell that when they get near you, being able to fill you with their rage almost causes them to increase in rage. So, Kaylin, you would recognize this as a buildup of psionic energy. It's not psionic energy, but that's how she would interpret it.
Right, 'cause that's all she knows.
That's all she knows. So the rest of you who are familiar with energy or magic, you can tell that being near you causes them greater frenzies of rage, and that being able to get away from them has prevented them. Now, unpleasant news. The second Dame of Hades stands up, the one that Anduriel dropped.
Prior.
What's that, Jess?
As though we've had any good news prior. Like,
yeah, so, hey, everybody made their athletics checks and no one got hit by any of the falling rocks or pillars.
Very, very closely.
So, I mean, hey, it is what, okay. Alrighty, so they all get up. Now,
they all get up?
No, just D2. Well, they weren't all down. D2 gets
oh my
up.
God.
JT, Anduriel can see as she gets up. She gets up like diagonal from him, but he looks up and he's like, ugh, like that. The hole in her chest has closed almost all.
No.
So, all kinds of unpleasantness. Okay. Now, it is their turn. D2 comes at you, Anduriel, with a javelin, and she hucks it at you. What is your AC?
14.
All right. She needs an 8. She gets a 4. She misses. Okay. So, Anduriel, she hucks this javelin at you, and you bat it aside with your kukri. Okay. D3. Lachlan.
It's a very annoying fly.
Yeah. Lachlan, D3, you're right in front of her, so she's going for you. She's going to try to hit you with her war spear. What is your AC?
16.
Okay, she got a 16. Can you do anything?
I don't think so.
Not at first level, you can't. Okay, so...
It's not against my will, is it?
Yeah, I know.
Is it against my will?
Yeah. It's against your AC. Lachlan, you take 9 points of damage as she spears you in the thigh.
Ooh.
Which is devastating, I'm sure, for a priest like you, to have your thigh injured. So anyway... She stabs you in the thigh. Lachlan lets out a scream that's probably something like, I'm not sure.
Something high-pitched and, evocative.
No, it's manly. It's manly.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Operatic.
Okay, sorry.
I love it so much, though.
Maybe not. Okay. Maybe that might become a thing. I'm not sure. Okay. All right, D3 hits you. D1, Lachlan, she's going to go for you too because you're right there. Actually, D1 is the one that Gizik was on, right?
Right.
Okay, I changed my mind. Mm-hmm. D1 is going to move over to 6I. She's going to shift.
If she shifts, she's going to take damage.
Okay, she's going to do it.
Okay, so she takes 7 radiant damage.
Ooh.
Oh, she hates you.
I kind of thought that was
righteous,
implied.
righteous radiance.
Okay. So she moves out of Lachlan's aura, and I picture her getting like an electric shock of white energy. Lachlan, what do you think happens?
Oh yeah, it's white with just almost pink.
Okay.
You know, it's got that red love in it.
All right. So a little bit of white and rosy colored white. I'm not sure what that looks like. It's like kind of like lightning just goes and like it ekes off of him and shocks her, and she's like, ow, like that. But she still hucks her javelin at Gizik. And she rolls a 17. Gizik, does that hit you?
AC?
Yes.
With the bonus I just got from Endurial for dropping D2, no, that misses.
Oh, very nice.
Excellent.
Okay, so this javelin, Lachlan, goes right for your shoulder, and it goes cling, and it like goes cling, and it bounces off you, and you can tell that it's like the shadow energy that was swirling around you, kind of like wrapped around it and
like
dropped it to the floor. So, and it's really kind of creepy too, because rather than it hitting a shield, the shadows kind of went like they hungrily leaped up and grabbed it.
Ooh.
Which is kind of dark magic, but
It's kind of
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we are about 5 minutes away from ending. So if everybody needs to end on time tonight, please give me a message in chat from Zoom and tell me if you can go a little bit longer, or tell me if you'd like to end, and then I will make that choice right there anonymously. So, okay, that is Anduriel's turn. Excuse me, that's the Dame's turn. Okay, so Dame 1 has gone, and Dame 2.
Did Dame 3 go?
No, Dame 3.
Yeah,
I don't think. Did I?
She attacked Laughlin.
Yeah, I took 9 points of damage.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Definitely went.
Okay. Okay, and I'm just closing the chat. Okay, so we are going to have her, let's see, what does she want to do? So we've had 2 javelins. Sorry, it's late and I'm old. So
It's okay.
Dame 1 threw a javelin. Dame 2 also threw a javelin. Dame 3 is not gone. And Lachlan, you're right in front of her.
No.
She did go.
He did go.
All right, so they've all had their turn. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for your help. All right, so that would be their turn. Kaylin, it's your turn, dearie.
Okay, so is Lachlan within range of her healing word?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he is 2 squares out of your range. You would have to move
Okay.
up.
So if she moves, can she still do it?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Then she will move 3 and try at least to cast healing word on Lachlan.
Okay. Yeah, so that's only a minor action. So, Kaylin, you need to move up to, let's say, you need to move up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Was on H3.
10J. 10J or 10I. You could even move to 10H.
Okay.
I'll go 10H.
All right, Kaylin, you take 3 steps forward, and you do healing word on Lachlan. So you have a move and a minor. Lachlan, you get a surge. Kaylin, roll 1d6 to see how much you add.
Okay, 1 second. 4.
Okay, so Lachlan, you get a surge plus 4 back.
He winks at her over his shoulder.
Okay, so Lachlan flirts with you in the middle of combat, which maybe
He
is
has
something.
no idea what that means.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, his eye needs healing now. I'm like, okay.
What's wrong with your eyes,
right.
sir?
Kaylin, does she say anything as she heals?
Because you helped me. Let me help you.
Okay, so she does that. When Kaylin heals, it looks very different. She reaches out, and what does it look like, Kaylin? What kind of energy comes off of her?
I kind of imagine it like white gold.
Okay,
Like
so
it's very bright and warm and summery.
all right, so she grabs her holy symbol, and then she gets enveloped in this bright flash of white gold light, and then it drains off of her, Lachlan, and it seeks around you, and it heals up your wounds. And it's the whole world is just a little brighter for a second. Okay, and that's what she does. Okay, and that's a daily, Kaylin. So you've used it for the day.
Yeah, so that one's done.
Yeah, that one's done.
That
for
one's
the day.
spent.
All right, Kaylin, you still have a standard action. You can wreck somebody if you're feeling so inclined.
Okay.
Now, I will point out that out of character, everyone now knows that the Dames of Hades regenerate their wounds.
Which is terrible.
It's no bueno.
So we need to figure out how to stop that.
Yes, we do. Now, I need all of you to make another knowledge religion check. Kaylin, you can make yours at a +2.
Can I make one?
Excellent.
What? Lachlan?
Yeah.
Lachlan, you can, but your DC is going to be too higher.
I'm paying attention this time. That's a 14.
Okay. Wow.
I got an 18.
18.
I got a 20.
Ooh.
You got a 20. And Kaylin?
So am I adding my
Knowledge religion.
plus the +2?
Yes. So +2 in addition to whatever your knowledge religion bonus is.
Okay, so dirty 20.
You got a dirty 20. All right.
Yes.
Lachlan, unfortunately, you briefly recall, maybe you read about the Dames of Hades in a book, and you know that they can't really necessarily be killed by just anyone. Kaylin, you have a flashback, and you actually remember sitting down at an elder priestess of Vahara's knees, and her telling you that a Dame of Hades can only be killed permanently with a stab to the heart by a true Amazon. And at this point, otherwise, you're going to have to dismember them, throw them back in the portal, or run, which means that you may be the only one that has the potential to end one of them if we drop them.
Okay.
So, and that depends on whether or not your aura is Amazonish enough.
What is a true Amazon? I'm not familiar with
True
that.
Amazon is a woman of independence and courage in extreme. So, okay. And who maybe has a little bit of a man hatred. I don't know. It just depends on the kind of Amazon you know. Yeah, maybe just a little.
No feminism in this game.
Yeah, no feminism. Yeah, she's allowed to have lingering resentments. Yeah. Okay. You hear that, Ryan? No feminism. So there'll be none of that. Like, if Lachlan starts to like female empower, she's gonna like backhand him. Don't you pander to Kaylin. She's an independent woman.
Be chivalrous without being.
Chivalrous is fine.
A beta male? Yeah, I got you. Okay, so moving on here. Okay, Kaylin, you know that you may be the only one who can end them permanently if you qualify. Now, you still have a standard action, so what would you like to do?
Well, can she try to convey that to the rest of the group?
Yeah, you can shout it out.
We have to dismember them, or someone of proper soulage.
That's
she doesn't
nice
like. She's got limited big words right now.
Well, we are in the thick of battle, so you say we have to dismember them. Now, those of you who realize that she is that the Dames of Hades are regenerating, this is kind of like a duh. They're regenerating, of course. So does anybody respond to her?
No.
I'll rip them up.
Okay. No, like, we knew this.
Gizik. All right, Gizik offers to dismember them. He's done it before. So possibly as a hobby. All right, Kaylin, you have standard action. What do you want to do?
Okay. What does my Battle Minds Demand do? Because we didn't go over that one.
Okay. If you use that, which you are close enough, Kaylin, not to anyone to be able to use. It's a minor action. It's a minor action or a standard. You can use it as a standard. It lets you mark them the way that Lachlan did. So if they move away from you, then you get an attack on them. If they attack anyone else, they take a -2.
Okay. But are they still already marked from Lachlan?
Lachlan has marked them, but 2 people can mark the same enemy.
Okay, I'm just wondering if that's what I want to use.
The only D3 is marked by me, because they have to be within one of me.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
so you could mark them.
Try mental trauma.
Oh, we're dropping the big gun. Okay. Who do you want to do that to? Do you want to do mental trauma on the one that Anduriel dropped, the freshie, number 3, who came through the portal, or the one that Gizik has been fighting, but that we now know is regenerating?
She's going to do the freshie because she's real annoyed and she would like to be done with this.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's get the freshie. Their will is 12. Okay. So you need a what? An 8? With your
Just an 8?
with your do you have your Scion attack bonus is +4, right?
Yes, it
so
is.
you need an 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Lachlan, does she still have inspiration?
Nope.
Okay, sorry. If you miss, you miss, sister.
Here's my question. I didn't actually have to use inspiration previously
Mhm.
because I got a 16 on my own. So does that not hold? Is it done once the turn is done?
It's done once you make the second roll.
I never did
hasn't
the
made
second
it.
roll.
Then
I
you
only
can.
did. I
then
only
it's
rolled
still-
once.
Yeah, it still is there then.
Okay.
So it's still in play.
All right, still in play.
Excellent. I got a 7, so I'm going to try for inspiration.
All right.
16, much better.
All right, you inflict mental trauma on the Dame of Hades. It does 3d8 plus your psionic damage bonus, if I'm correct.
Okay, 3d8. Let me find the 8th die. I believe this is it. 1. Do I have more than 1? I should. 2. Where's my third one? Oh, well. Okay, so 5, 4, and 9, 10, 12. It's just my rolls. And then I do my bonus.
Yep, then you add your Scion bonus damage.
So 16?
16. All right. So, 1 second. Got a message from the wifey. Okay. Which I will neglect to answer. All right. Caitlin, you do feel like she resists some of it, but
Okay.
you just rock her world. So I picture this as being, I don't know, whatever you want. This is your mental trauma. You can make her see things if you want, or just make her believe that she's being attacked by something else.
She wants to do whatever she can do to turn this chickie's mind inside out.
Okay. So she all of a sudden starts just going, ah! She starts swinging at nothing that's not even there and screaming. And she looks like something is stabbing her. Like, she's like, you know, and all it really does is provoke more rage.
Well, that was not the plan.
But it does damage her, and now she thinks she's wounded. So
Okay.
all right,
And
now
does she know that Lachlan is the one that gave her inspiration? Is she aware of that?
Kaylin, yeah.
Yes.
When Lachlan
Right.
sings or speaks, you can tell that his magic, his voice is affecting you in a psionic way, or at least that's how she interprets it. Even though it's
She will
not.
sort of like give him a nod and a curtsy.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, nod and a curtsy. Very nice. In the middle of combat. Niceties. We appreciate
You
those.
know, manners.
Manners are important. Okay. All right. So Kaylin reaches out and just, purple energy crackles around her, and she just rocks the Dame of Hades back and forth, who resists. But now she has psychic vulnerability 5, which means if on your following turn, Kaylin, you use your mind thrust and augment it, you're going to do 5 more damage. Lachlan, you do psychic damage too, right?
Yes. Well, I've got
Okay.
1.
All right. Well, just so you know. And then Gizik, do you have any attacks that do psychic damage?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Alrighty. So just so you know, Caitlin has made D1 rather vulnerable. All right. Back to the top. Gizik, it's your turn.
All right, I am going to move Dame 1 next to Lachlan, so that's J6.
Okay.
And then I'm going to circle around behind and move to I6. So it's a move and a minor. And I will attack with Hag's Hunger. Just going to go to town on this guy.
All right. Even though you are at a -2 to attack now that you're in her rage aura.
Yes.
But he's at a +2 for combat advantage. He's
Oh.
flanking.
All right. There you go. All right.
So for those of us who don't
so it
know,
doesn't...
Okay.
Okay.
For
what
those
does
of you who
Hag's
don't
Hunger
know.
do?
Well, he's going to tell you, but it's basically he's coming in for a double claw attack. If he hits with both claws, he gets to add more damage.
Oh,
All right, so for the 2 attacks, it's 10 versus AC and 16 versus AC.
Okay, the 10 does not hit. The 6 does hit.
really?
Their AC. Oh wait, did you roll a 10 total, or is it?
Yes, one's a 10 total, the other's a 16 total.
Okay, their AC is 17, unfortunately, my friend.
Oh, man.
So that's swing and a miss on both counts.
Oh dear.
Unless somebody can do something, but I'm anticipating that we're not there.
No, I think it's
Okay.
a miss.
All right, so unfortunately, Gizik comes up behind her and goes, claws, but she manages to kind of like deflect his claws aside with the edge of her spear. And he's
Like, does the poor big fella just face plant into the floor?
yeah, he's unable to make contact, unfortunately. Gizik, do you want to do anything else with a minor action? You want to switch your Bewitch up?
I used the minor action to move the dame already.
Okay. That's you have Dame 1. All right, she's the one that you're attacking, right?
Switching the Bewitch, it doesn't look like that's an action.
It's a minor action to switch the Bewitch.
It doesn't say minor action in the description, but
No, what it is if you want to switch the effect, it's almost like casting Bewitch again, but you don't have to roll to attack because she's already under your power.
Right, it just says once per turn you can change the effect on a bewitched creature. So
Okay,
if that's a minor, that's fine.
Ryan, is that a minor action to change it?
I think
it makes sense. If
yeah.
It was.
I think it is. I think we established that it was. We'll just have, all right. So that's something we need to include in the description when we go to sell this. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Notes.
Yeah, notes. All right. So, all right.
Okay.
So, Gizik, you want to move her away from you?
No. I moved her next to Lachlan already.
All right.
When I started.
Okay.
So that's
Alrighty.
it. I'm done.
That is Gizik's turn, and now Anduriel, you're up.
Okay. I saw D2 raise up.
Uh-huh.
I roll my eyes and like, are you kidding me? And I'd like to use Favor of the Gods.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Swarm of Shadows on D2.
Ooh. All right, now, you can do that if you want to. Swarm of Shadows is a blast. So if you wanted to, you could hit 3 and 1 and get both of them if you move to L7.
Oh, I forgot it was a blast. Thank you.
The
Well,
blast goes out 3 squares to either side of you. So from where you are now, it would go 3 squares up and 3 squares to the left, 3 squares diagonal. So it's out in front of you like this. Okay. Boom, boom, boom.
so I'm in L6 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if I move to L7, I'll get everybody.
You'll get D3 and D1.
D1. That's right. Okay. I move back to D7 there.
Okay.
Favor of the Gods. And
All
then
right.
Swarm of Shadows. It's against Fortitude.
Right. Does he say anything when he channels divinity?
See, I don't know. It doesn't make as much sense in this instance to say what he normally says.
All right. So we need to add a second one then.
Well, he would probably say something along the lines of Naylock, the shadows to be with me, or something like that.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Plus, now is that a vampire attack?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that is a 18.
All right. That hits all their defenses. And the other one?
Oh, I got to roll 2.
Yeah. What does it target, my friend?
It targets their fortitude.
Okay. So you need a 14 total.
Okay, so I got a 14 on that one.
All right. So hit.
Yeah. Okay, so this is 3 dice 6. So on the first one, 5, 6, 8, 14.
Okay. Did you add your vampire damage bonus?
Yeah.
Okay. You only have to roll once for
Okay.
damage. Okay. So you did 14 points of damage to number 1 and number 3. Yes.
And number 3, yep.
Does that bloody anybody?
Yes, that bloodies the first dame, D1.
Okay, then I'll give him 4 temporary hit points.
All right, you got 4 temporary hit points, Anduriel.
Cool. And then I teleport into the square, and I'm invisible till end.
Yep. Which square do you want to teleport in the blast? It's any square in front of you, like 3 squares out. So you can basically move anywhere you want within 3 squares.
So I'd go back to L6, I think.
L6?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Anduriel, what does that look like when you cast that?
Okay, so Swarm of Shadows. I sort of start to shimmer a little bit, but not in a bright metallic way, more like a shadow way. And I just start to shimmer out, and then all of a sudden, a shadow envelops the targets, right?
Okay.
And I'm no longer there, but flashes of like pale skin can be seen in the shadows around, and you just start to hear screaming from within the shadows as people start to bleed.
It's horrifying, Kaylin. Just so you know, Gizik.
If she had anything left, like she would be just vomiting left and right, but it's all gone.
Gizik, this is more of like a Saturday night for you.
I was gonna say this is party time.
Yeah, Lachlan, it's pretty disturbing to watch what Anduriel does as he grabs his holy symbol and then he just kind of himself ekes into the shadow energy, and you just see flashes of him like here, and then they both scream. They're like and then just furrows of blood, bites, claw wounds just appear all over them, and Anduriel's gone. Nobody can see him. So it's
I am using my second blood drinker on that one.
Okay. Oh, you want to use your blood drinker? All right. Who do you want to do? Well, roll 1d10.
Oh, much better. That's a 7.
All right. So 7 more points of damage. And number 1 looks like she could, in 2 hits, she could be down.
Ooh.
Number 3 is hurt, but still kind of raring to go because she's a freshie.
Okay. And even though I didn't use Favor of the Gods, I didn't need to, I still check it off as being not available anymore, right?
Yep. Favor of the Gods. You can only channel divinity once per encounter. You can.
Cool.
Unfortunately, because you're a cleric vampire. He is a split class. So okay, that was Anduriel's rather disturbing turn. Lachlan, it's your turn.
All right, so who do we have hurt?
I don't know. Who is hurt? Gizik?
Not really.
Not really. Anduriel, have you been hurt?
By 2.
Yeah. So nobody's really hurt. Everybody's doing rather well.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to just do then a virtuous strike.
On who? Who are you attacking?
D1 because I can get a flank bonus.
Okay.
So AC 17.
Yep.
I rolled a 16, so more than enough.
Okay.
And it does 12 points of radiant damage.
Ow. Okay. So what do you think that looks like, Lachlan?
It's a lightsaber. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course it is.
So it's that same rosy light that just surrounds his weapon, his longsword, as he swings it.
He has a color palette that he sticks to.
Well, Goddess of Love. It's not going to be black.
It's his branding.
Okay. Very nice.
and he throws in a couple extra flourishes just for
Just cause
visual effect.
Okay. So Lachlan chants a prayer and holds up his sword, and all of a sudden, it's glowing with radiant energy, and he goes through several formations. He's probably like,
really savoring it.
it's in. But he kind of uses the light and the flashing around to distract them. They're like,
Nice.
they're like, the light's coming at him from different areas, and it's confusing. And he whacks that one. She looks like a good. I mean, if somebody pees on her, she's dead. That's it's a good stuff. Okay. Moving on. Okay. The Dames of Hades' turn. They all heal 5 hit points because you now know that they're regenerating.
They also take ongoing damage 5 save ends.
2 of them? The ones
two,
that you...
the 2 that I got, yeah.
Okay. So that healing is not going to take effect this round.
Excellent.
So
That's what I like to hear.
Okay. All right.
He's gross, but he's effective, right?
Yeah. And Uriel, they can't see you. For all they know, you're gone. Lachlan, you are right there. D3 is going to go for you. Is this your second round being adjacent to her or your first round being adjacent to her?
Second.
Okay, she is going to use Escalating Wrath and take 2 spear attacks on you. What's your AC?
16.
Okay. All right, so 1 hit, 1 miss. Lachlan, you take 11 points of piercing damage.
Ouch.
And it's ugly, and we may need to start carrying encounter barf bags because there's a whole lot,
At least
a whole lot of reaction going around here. So, okay, that is Lachlan. All right, so Lachlan, you get hit now. That's excuse me. That is D3. All right, D1. Gizik, Gizik, tell me what square you're in again. I just want to double check.
Just right to the left. I6.
You were in I6. Okay, cool. All right, Gizik, D1 is on its last legs, but she's going for you.
She's going to take damage.
Yeah, she is aware.
In my defender aura.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully enough to drop her.
Yeah, hopefully. She's so enraged, she doesn't even care. So she does and goes to attack. Does she suffer the damage first?
Yes, it's an opportunity attack, so it's 7 radiant.
Okay, it drops her.
Boom.
But she can't control her rage, and so she just goes for Gizik anyway. Like, ah! And then, all right, so this energy just kind of floats off Lachlan and goes, like, shocks her, and she goes, ah! Boom, and she drops. Kaylin?
Kaylin may have just squeaked and jumped up with joy like a little kid.
This might be your opportunity to finish her off, Kaylin.
Okay, so is it my turn?
That was Lachlan. No, wait, that was the dame's turn.
D2. Did you do D2?
No, I have not done T2 yet. Lachlan, Kaylin, you are making a nuisance of yourself. She is going to huck a javelin at you, and then she is going to run and try to get to you. What is your AC, Kaylin?
My AC is 13.
Okay, she got a 13, unfortunately. Which is not...
That's no good.
Okay, Kaylin, you take... You only take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
She barely got you, but the javelin goes into the ground through your boot, and you're stuck in the square. So, Kaylin, my dear, you are stuck in your square. You are immobilized until you save. And that is all. Oh, she's also going to run to get to you. 1, 2, 3.
Where am I at? I know I'm on H, but what number?
You're 10H.
Thank you.
And D2 just moved to 10I.
Well, that's deeply inconvenient.
She is on you, and you can't get away, which is bad. Although, she doesn't know how well you know to use that greatsword. So...
Ooh.
Okay. And that is the dame's turn. All right. Kaylin, it is your turn now.
Okay. So, how do I use my greatsword? Because we went over all the...
Okay. So look on any of your powers that say melee or say 1W, because that means that it's a weapon attack.
I know I saw one earlier. Okay. Mm-hmm. The only one I can see off the top of my head is the world slipping advance, unless I'm missing something.
Let me look at your character sheet real quick.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, world slipping advance is your only weapon attack right now, yes.
Okay. So how do I do that?
Okay, so do you have a weapon attack bonus?
I should, yes. I have a melee basic bonus.
Okay.
I have an attack bonus for Battle Mind, damage bonus. I don't see a weapon one unless I'm missing it.
Okay. It doesn't say weapon. It says attack bonus Battle Mind, Scion. It's a buff encounter, so it's a +7.
Okay.
So roll the die 20 and add 7.
I was looking in the right spot then. Okay. Time to pull out the calculator. 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, you hit. So now, World Slipping Advance, do you want to use your power points and augment the attack?
What would the augmentation do?
Well, if you put 1 point in, you can teleport 1 square, which could be away from her. If you augment 2, you get to roll your 2d6 twice. So 4d6.
I will put in 2.
All right, so there go your power points. Kaylin, roll 4d6 and add your 4 damage bonus.
3, 7, 13. 18 plus 4 is 22.
22. Okay. And this is number. Oh, you drop her, Kaylin.
Yay!
Okay, so that is your standard action only. You still have a move action and a minor action. And with that, I'm going to let you decide if you would like to stab her through the heart.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. All right. So, Kaylin, you take your greatsword and you channel psionic energy, and it's covered in like a crackling purple energy, and you're like, sweet. These enormous swings, and you cut her like from stem to stern, and then you're using World Slipping Advance, so you're actually teleporting behind her as you do it. So you wink out and you wink in behind her and stab her right through the chest, and she's like, ugh, like that.
Just standing there with this giant sword. Okay. I don't like confined spaces.
What's that?
She's like, I don't like confined spaces.
Okay.
I want to get out of here.
Okay, so Kaylin screams. The rest of you hear Kaylin scream out something about confined spaces. Stab her through the heart, and she screams and disintegrates in front of your eyes.
Yes.
So apparently, you are Amazon enough to be able to qualify. And the rest of you are not quite sure what happened because you didn't make your religion checks. But Kaylin, you know that you're the only one who's going to be able to end them. So just FYI. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have ended our session for the night. We are about, 30. So we're 26 minutes over, which isn't terribly too bad, but we're not going to do that every time, of course.
Right.
Now, I need to know something moving forward. Would you guys like to jump into that episode 1, or are you desperate to continue this particular encounter?
I think it's just about done.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to rip up Dame number 1, and then everybody can gang up on Dame number 3, and I think it'll end really fast if we played it out.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Ryan and JT, do you guys want to just call this good and then start fresh with episode 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, JT. All right, so here's what happens then. Everything freezes. Okay? Everything freezes. Lachlan, you are there alone. Kaylin, you wake up on a caravan, on a wagon in a sweat. Gizik, you wake up outside in a shed or wherever it is that you might be.
No shed. Not this
no
time.
shed. Okay. Gizik, you wake up
just out in the
outside
woods,
wherever
maybe.
you're sleeping, and like you reach out, claw some bunny, who knows what, something like that. And Duriel, you wake up in the darkness, breathing. You don't normally breathe, but you wake up breathing. You can breathe if you want to, but you don't have to. And you wake up breathing until you realize and forget you don't have to unless you're talking. So it's kind of a weird experience. Now, Lachlan, they wink out. The Dames of Hades vanish before the end of the fight. And that woman is standing there next to you again, the one in the frayed red dress with the black cloak, that diadem, and her eyes glowing with the same golden light that came through the entryway. And she says, do you see? This is how they ended. At least one of their lives. I don't know how many they had. Frankly, it was hard enough to get this much information out of them, and I can't sustain this much longer. Do you see the kind of courage that you are going to be surrounded by?
Who are you?
That's not important. She says, what's important is that tomorrow you save her life. That's what's important.
Okay.
She says, you won't be the only one there, but you have to save her life. She says, if you don't, everything's going to be undone, and I won't be able to do anything about it this time. Okay, and with that, Lachlan, and she says, and by the way, I liked you in the green dress. and then, Lachlan, you wake up in kind of a cold sweat with the distinct understanding that this was not a normal dream. Okay? And you're left with the overwhelming impression that Kaylin isn't there, but that you have to wait, and she'll come to you. So, just FYI. Anyway, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the episode 0 of Holy Rollerz. We hope that you enjoyed it. We are now going to finish up the way that we always do with a moment we call Consider This. And given that this is episode 0, I'm going to be starting this one off. So consider this. Just consider it. The holiday season is coming up when you guys will be watching this, or whichever part of this you'll be watching. And that is a season that is particularly magical for children. And it was always magical for me when I was growing up. And I know for the other people here, we've had discussions about this because these are all my friends, that, the holiday season is magical for children. So, that being understood, it just made me start thinking. When I was a teacher, I often had a lot of students who would come and tell me that they were, 13 or 14 years old playing these really mature video games. And there was an extent to which that made me sad as a teacher, because I knew that this was the world that they immersed themselves in, kind of like we immerse ourselves in Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, it can get graphic, obviously, sword through the chest and whatnot. But I think that the longer we can protect our children's innocence, which is something that I think that we value in the holiday season, and maybe we forget the rest of the time, I think the longer we let them be kids and we protect their innocence, the better it can be for their mental health growing up. There's a lot of people that suffer with anxiety right now, and maybe it's something that we could do to help. So anyway, just consider it. Think about it. It's a good thought coming here on the holiday seasons. What are we doing to protect innocence? Anybody want to add anything to that?
No, I think it was really well said.
Okay. All right. So this is the end of episode 0 of Holy Rollerz. Whichever part of it we got, we hope that you enjoyed it. And until next time in episode 1, when we live broadcast, this is us saying there are more of us than there are of them. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.